Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Sean Bell,
Hello.
James Farley.
Hello. What the fuck was that?
Do you know what annoys me the most? Why did you mute that?
Oh, why? Yeah, why?
Because that was coming, right? And I didn't know if it was going to happen as quickly as it did. It was a sneeze. And it's like, yeah, it was. Oh yeah, there you go. That's pretty good.
No. What that hasn't done is explain why you muted it.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to hear like
home. No, but the people listening at home will go, Why did nothing happen then?
Oh well, there's a bit of silence, and then everyone laughed. What a shame. I'll never know.
But why do you want me to just leave in this audio like that? That is just
because
sounds
this
terrible.
Whole bit would be funnier if everyone heard the thing that we're talking about.
Thank you, Sean. Sean is now my spokesperson. For those of you that don't know and haven't picked up on it already, Matt Murray's not here for us this week. Not here for us this week?
Here
That
for
sounds
us.
really bad.
He let us down, didn't he, Dave? That's what...
No, he is going through some horrible stuff at the moment. So,
Yeah.
Matt, we love you very much, and we hope that you're back with us soon, and all of that. But it is our 9th birthday, or it was yesterday.
Woo.
This podcast has been going for 9 years. So this is a very special episode of the Computer Game Show where we will be mostly responding to your messages. There's no news, no what you've been playing. There's sort of news, but know what you've been playing, no list of feedback, none of the good stuff. We're just focusing in on your content this week. But of course, we will be going through the Switch to Nintendo Direct, the announcements, and we'll get to that shortly because we have to start, as we always start, by thanking our Patreon producers this month. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights to Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman76, Smooth Monkey, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Sam Higton, Thomas, Stan, Philip with an F, Cutty, Steve Lee, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Man, Jack Oven, Grey Dragon Claw, Colin the Car Wanker Smith, Lee Keybottom, My Dog Skip, Dean, and Steve the Nuke Littler. We would not be here 9 years later without the support of our Patreon producers. Thank you so much for going full Nels. We really do appreciate it. And we also, of course, appreciate anyone that supports us at patreon.com/TCGS. I'm being sincere this week rather than fucking around. Honestly, thank you so much for the support. I cannot believe how long the show's been going, and it is mainly down to the support that we receive from you lot, be it Patreon subscribers or those that just listen every week and share the good word of TCGS. Thank you so much. We would not be here without you. Patreon.com/TCGS if you want to support the show, if you can. Thank you. Where do we start? I'm actually nervous because you get these podcasts where something happens. It's either a game that you've been playing that you love, or a big game that everyone's been talking about for years that's just come out and we've all been playing it, or some major news. There's something of like, look, you're really excited to talk about something, and then when the time comes, you sort of fall apart because it's like everything wants to come out at once.
Yeah, there's just so much to pick through. It's absolutely unreal.
It really is, isn't it? Okay, so I guess news, James. Sort of.
I think we got to address the Switch too, haven't we? I think
we have got to. Right. Okay, I'm interested. So you watched it on stream, Sean, with Matt.
Yes.
I went back and watched that stream. I brilliant stream as usual. Didn't understand the bit where James come in at the end of it and didn't really say anything. Just joined the call and sort of
said loads of things. I said loads of things. That's bullshit. I said loads of things.
It was a bit. Go and watch it. Go and watch it on our YouTube channel, listeners. James pops up at the end after it's over and goes, "Yep. What do you think, James?" Yeah.
That's not true. I said loads of stuff. That's not true.
Really odd. Where did you watch it, James? Were you not at work?
I was at work, and that's why I only popped in at the end because I was just I watched it.
You weren't saying much
because I watched it on the little on my computer, and then I was like, I can't keep this in. I've got to say something, I mean, it turns
So
out.
why did you just say yep when you joined?
You know, I said more than that, but you know, there was. Yeah.
I took advantage of an option that I didn't know was available on my phone. I looked it up at lunchtime to see what's possible. You could temporarily disable like loads of apps. It's great.
Yeah.
Just graze them all out. And I'm sure loads of people knew that this was a thing, but I did that because I was so adamant that I wanted to sit and experience it with Harry and Charlie, you know, for the first time, just to sit and watch with them. I do not regret it. I mean, that was the way to do it for sure. But there was that 3 or 4 hours before I got to do that where I'm sitting there going, they know everything, and it's fucking killing me. Turns out they didn't really know everything. But that's always the way with Nintendo announcements, isn't it? There's the announcement.
It's the best, and then the caveats start rolling out, which is
caveats start rolling out.
It's so good.
So how are we going to do this? We're going to go through the software first, then the hardware, and then I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about our pre-order situation, where we're all at,
See,
how confident we're feeling.
The software's a bit like, because the thing is with that is we've got the launch games, the ones that are definitely coming out on launch, and then also the other stuff that's coming out, presumably within what they call launch window. So, and it's quite a big difference, I think.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of the launch titles. There's a lot of third-party stuff and stuff we've already played before. Like for example, Street Fighter 6 is coming.
Yeah.
Split Fiction, Hogwarts Legacy, Hitman: World of Assassination, Bravely Default, Yakuza 0. Civilization 7. There's tons of games here that you kind of go, okay, they're available. I'm sure. I think the worst part about this stuff for me was they showed Cyberpunk, for example, and Split Fiction were the two that really stuck out because they don't look at. You can see the sort of power that the Switch 2 has got, and it was never going to be able to compete with current gen consoles. I'm not saying that, and nor should I expect it. But when I look at those games, I go, oh, but they're just games that I'd rather play on the Xbox and PlayStation because they're going to look so much better than they do on the Switch 2, which is stupid because that's not what the Switch 2 is about. The portability of the Switch has always been brilliant, and you're almost always going to be happy to take that sort of graphical hit if it means that you get that to play it wherever on your I nearly called it the Portal then on your Switch 2. So I'm not directly comparing them, but there is a lot of this launch title stuff that you go, okay, nothing blew me away.
But that's for us. And we have like multiple consoles. We have the whole thing.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that obviously don't, and that are just if they're thinking I'm going for a Switch 2.
Sound like you're working for Nintendo right about now. Sound like you're trying to.
But no, it's true. There'll be a load of people that have never played like stuff like Cyberpunk or anything because they've not had anything to play it on.
Absolutely.
And this is
one of these things that I did want to ask you about before we go on to the sort of things we're more looking forward to talking about. Yakuza 0's an odd one to choose, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a director's cut, so they're adding more stuff to it. I mean, I'm sure this is going to come to other platforms as well at some point. But I think we're at that stage in the cycle now where they're just going to start remaking the remakes. I think that's what's going to happen. It's going there'll be like a Yakuza Kiwami director's cut almost certainly is going to come, and it's like But
I thought if they were going to announce a Yakuza game, I would have thought for the life of me it would have been the pirate one.
I know, but
it's relevant, it's new, and
it's true. But I think what we're going to see is I think they're going to release all of them on this. Like I think and quite quickly as well. I think they'll probably just release the lot.
I'm not saying it's this easy, but once the engine's ported over, and jokes aside, there is a lot of asset reuse in that series. I think to interesting effect. Yeah. But that's partly why one of the reasons why the studio is so efficient, right? And now they've been able to keep this series going as long as it has. So yeah, I would hope that would make for a relatively easy porting situation because that would be cool. Like, I've played 0 and then a bit of Kiwami. I'd be well up for continuing that on a handheld. That would be wicked.
I mean. And also, there was a lot of stuff here that was also clearly for like Japanese audience as well, and like that's another series which is like massively popular there. It makes sense, like putting it on here.
Yeah.
I mean, all of this stuff makes sense because they can make a lot of money. Like,
Of course,
stuff.
yeah, no, totally. And then and there are games like Kunitsigami that you were a big fan of last year, Sean. So that'd be pretty cool. There was one third-party game coming to Switch on launch day that the kids went crazy for.
Is it Fortnite by any chance?
It's Fortnite, yes. They went nuts when they showed Fortnite, and I went, you don't need it on this, boys. You don't. Yep. You've already got it on your.
But it was never not gonna be on this as well. Like it's
exactly.
Conversely,
Asher
they
don't know that. I can't say that's not the angle I'm going to take with them, Sean. I'm not going to sit down and go, listen, lads, this isn't exactly news, all right?
Asher wasn't that happy because Minecraft wasn't mentioned as coming
good
to
point.
it.
I mean, it's definitely going to come to the Switch, isn't it?
Well, certainly it will. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's odd that it didn't get.
That was one of my predictions, though, that I was kind of sad didn't happen. There was no Microsoft stuff. Like I was really expecting
no Microsoft stuff. Yeah,
I was expecting they were gonna. I was really thinking they were gonna show like Forza Horizon, like 5 or something like that. Running on
I
it,
thought Forza Horizon, but I also thought they'd go out with like a big holy shit moment, and they were going to release the
like the Halo collection.
Collectors, the Halo collection, rather than like the Halo Infinite or anything. But that seems like, and there was a moment where, this was the previous Nintendo Direct, Sean, when you said all things had picked up, and I quickly switched it on, and they were showing Metroid, but for a moment with the placement of the map or the radar, I was like, oh my god, Halo! And I realised that wasn't the case. Okay, but should we talk about the one launch title that I think we're all, I mean, it's the only launch title, right?
Well,
the only one that matters.
You're talking about the Welcome Tour, yeah?
Oh shit, we got to talk about that. Oh my god, there is so much to go over. Mario Kart, was it World Tour?
Yeah, Mario Kart World.
Mario Kart World. It's just Mario Kart World. Right, it's funny, isn't it? Because I didn't think they could show me anything that would get me as excited as this did. I did. When looking back on it, I was thinking, well, they had like a new maybe flying or jet skis or something like that, and they did have those things, sure. But this is a big departure from what Mario Kart is, right? And there is some positive aspects to this. There are some negative aspects, but I mean, think
it's Mario Forza Kart, isn't it? It feels like.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are saying Forza when they're talking about it. There's part of me that hopes that... Because even when they were showing, hey, when you do a traditional Grand Prix, you can drive to the next track, there was part of me that was like, but my missus isn't going to want to do that. So I hope there's an option that
But then have you seen that stuff?
Yes, I saw a brief bit of it. We watched, because we don't want to watch too much, because we want to get excited about it.
See, I'm an idiot. I'll watch everything I can get my hands on.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin stuff. So should I not worry about
it? The way they sort of present it in the video, the initial presentation, I thought it was like, because they sort of go, you can pick like 3 or 4 courses or whatever, and that's your Grand Prix, and you do it. I thought the implication was that it was like seamless. And what I saw on the Treehouse stream was not that. It was a race, and then it was, here's another stage, which is the journey between the 2 tracks. Now you do the next race. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just like, it wasn't like Outrun. Do you know what I mean?
I thought that there was just straight up like Grand Prix mode where you could just, where it just did track after track. Like, no...
Well, that's what we don't know yet. Like that, I mean, that I don't. They might have done this on the Treehouse or explained this somewhere, but I haven't looked into it too much because I don't want to spoil stuff. But no, I don't know what you mean, Shane. I see. So you thought it was going to be... No, I'm confused. So what?
I thought it was going to be like you pass the finish line and then you just fucking keep going.
Oh, no. I knew that they'd still have to do the end so that you can set off together, right? Otherwise, I'll be on like... Dad's completed the Grand Prix and we're still on lap 1 of the first...
It's Mario Kart,
like,
there's items. Boys. The items mean it'll be fine. So I was a bit disappointed to be like, it is still just a series of races. But there is definitely like a free roam mode, and like they've shown that off, and so that looks really cool. So.
The one thing that I did notice about the Treehouse stream is that they showed the character select bit, and there was I couldn't tell you how many. There was like 12, maybe less than that. Maybe there was 8 I think there was 12 characters on the screen. And I was like, and the boys were like, "Oh, there's some good characters there." And I looked down, it had dots for pages.
Yeah.
And there was like 6 dots underneath, and I'm going, "Holy shit!" Like, everyone's talking about the fact that the cow from Moo Moo Meadows is in, right? Moo Moo Meadows. Like everyone's going, "Oh, the cow's in it," and I'm thinking, if they're down to the cow, I cannot wait to see what other characters they've got in this. I bet they have got everyone in it. Has there been a full list? I don't think there has.
No,
I haven't seen one. No.
But I'd also wonder how much sort of DLC are they going to be doing for this?
Plenty. I don't care. It's well, actually, I do care because we'll talk about the price of things later. I think, but this is an expensive game. So dropping DLC very quickly would be a pretty shitty move, I think.
Unless they do the thing. Well, I was going to say unless they do, because you still have to pay for it. But they do the thing with the Nintendo expansion, where it's like, oh, it's included in that. You get that.
Possibly,
but then,
the other thing about the open world stuff is that there's part of me that's thinking, if they get this right, if this could be the equivalent of Pilot Wings 64. Where they created a map that was full of little secrets, and when I say full of little secrets, it had about 3 in Pilot Wings 64, but that was a lot back then, all right? That was a lot. But if this is something where you can drive up to stuff and then you find like things like, I'll be surprised if Peach's Castle from Mario 64 isn't in there somewhere that you can drive into and all that sort of shit. I'd love it to be full of little bits like that that you can just come across. You could come across a level from something, or little references hidden about the world. They've got to fill it with that shit, right?
I'd be astonished if it's not like that. Like if it's just driving around and it's just like fields and stuff. There's gonna be there's gonna be tons of secrets and like little tracks underground and all sorts of
How
stuff.
exciting is that though?
Yeah.
How fucking exciting is
Yeah,
that?
very funny if there's none of this.
None. It's just
Get to watch this back.
we listen back. Yeah, they're gonna do this. So they've added grinding to rails, which I'm interested to see how much of an advantage that is to use in a race.
It's quite sick when you see. So say there's like a rail to grind on and then goes into a tunnel. So they'll like hop up, grind on the rail, and then they hop onto the wall of the tunnel.
It was like wall jumping, weren't there?
Yeah, wall jumping. But what you didn't watch the Treehouse, James?
I didn't say that. No.
Stop muting yourself.
Why did you mute yourself then?
Well, because I keep sneezing. Like nearly, and it's not fine. If I do sneezing, there'll be all sorts of feedback about that.
If I do sneezing, can do sneezing be the episode title? Write that one down. If I do sneezing, the grinding on the rail, right? And then they showed the wall jumping thing. But on the treehouse thing that Sean's talking about, you can combine those things.
Yeah.
So you could grind on a rail, then go into wall jumping. It's like it looks amazing, but I cannot imagine the wall jumping is going to help speed things up when you're racing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how that works out. But
it'll probably be like the boost thing, won't it? It'll be like if you do them successfully, like then you'll get like a boost when you land or something like that. That's like big. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems so.
I've got one concern. There is one game mode we play in Mario Kart 8 that we play all of the time, more than the racing these days. And that's Renegade Roundup. And I am almost certain that is not going to be in this. And
no
all
mention
the
of battle mode,
reviews,
was there?
No.
all the reviews will be, it's missing battle mode, but no one played that anyway. And my family are going to be, we're not, what? It's not, why would they take out Renegade Roundup? That's the one
But you never know.
we really love playing as a family.
Maybe there's going to be a whole section of the world which is like that stuff. That's.
They won't know, will they? Because that takes time and effort, and they probably looked at the percentage of people that clicked on that button and said it's one fat bloke in Sutton playing this. Let's not spend any time or money on it. I'm going to be gutted if they get rid of Renegade Roundup. I don't know how I'm going to break it to the kids. I do not know how I'm going to break it to the kids.
Just don't mention it.
Can we play Renegade Roundup? Everyone sit down.
Yeah, in a bit. Yeah.
Need to go. Just keep putting it off. That's what James would do. I'd go for the problem head on, Sean.
It's look, just break out Mario Kart 8 again. They won't notice. and just be like, yeah, this is the new one.
Yeah, Mario Kart World looks phenomenal, and I think it's weird. Someone said, I think I saw this on Blue Sky or something. Someone said, your Mario Kart World looks good, but it's not a system seller, is it? And I just thought, well, I don't know what would be a system seller for a Nintendo console. Then I don't know
very much
if you're saying that. This is up there. It would be either a new Zelda, a Mario Kart, or a 3D Mario game.
Yeah, but
they're like the free system sellers you get for that, I think.
Yeah, also because Mario Kart has sold like way more than any of the Zelda games.
I was going to say, hasn't Mario
games.
Kart 8 sold like 80 odd million copies or something?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Look, I'm very, very excited about that. Should we talk about the games that are not in the launch window and not, kind of coming later? And there's third-party stuff. We could go through it, but don't we? Elden Ring. That was another game that I looked at and went, oh, this is quite a downgrade from the Elden Ring that we're looking for, but having that portable is pretty cool. Hades 2, which pissed me off that that's not a launch game. I was so expecting them to go, we're launching version 1 on the Switch, because that's where I'm playing Hades 2. That's where I'm playing. Hades 2 is, I associate my time with Hades on the Switch, right? Not on any other console. I could get it on the PlayStation, but I don't want to play Hades on a big TV. I want to play it handheld.
Yeah.
And the portal is great, but you've got to be so quick. Like your reactions, but it's so quick. I'd rather just have it natively on the console I'm playing on. So, yeah, Hades 2. I was a little bit disappointed that was like later this year, wasn't it? They said later this year, or
it was. And it's also going to come to other stuff as well, obviously. But
of course. But that's where I'm going to be playing it on the.
It's already on Steam. Just saying. I'm just choosing not to play because it's not finished.
Yeah, but it's not finished. Yeah, I want to get the the finished version before I start mucking about. And Daemon X Machina, Titan. How do you say? This is a sequel, right?
This is a sequel. Fuck knows how that game got a sequel. I never played the full game. I gather it was all right. Like, it was a bit, because the first one came out where I'd sort of given up on ever getting another Armored Core, and apparently I think it was some like ex From Software staff that sort of put the original together, and it was okay, but I don't think it sold very well or anything. So I was kind of amazed that there was a follow up to it.
I was surprised at myself for calling this during the trailer. I went, "Oh, this is Daemon X Machina," right away. I just went, how do I know that? Why have I? And then it came up.
Friends with Sean Bell for fuck's sake.
Harry was like, how do you even know what this game is, Dad? And I was like, I don't really know, actually. So sure of it. Weird one to bring back, but it's not the weirdest one to bring back from this Nintendo Direct.
There's a lot of later. Strange stuff. I mean, there was like the EA Sports stuff as well. I mean, that's
didn't go into any details of whether it's
although they've said they've said that they're going to try and make it as close as possible. Which means it's not going to be.
They're already getting their excuses.
It's not going to be the same.
No, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, but I'm going to be playing it on Xbox because that's going to be Game Pass, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be playing it there. Project 007 after was this IO just showed
I was hoping this was going to be a new trailer, but it was not.
It was not much. There was
when he said, "Oh, we're going to talk about another agent, another famous agent," I went, "Hey, James Bond," and Harry went, "Who's James Bond?"
Whoa!
And I always went, "Look, listen." And I'm like, well, Alan Partridge was nearly
Sit down.
I mean, where do you start that? I mean, that's a whole conversation. Where do you start with James Bond with kids?
I don't know.
You don't.
Because in hindsight, how many of those films are actually suitable for children? Probably not.
None of them.
Yeah.
None of them are.
No. See, also,
None of them is.
Chen tried, she read one of the books, one of the earlier books recently, and she
haven't they aged really badly?
Really, really badly.
Yeah.
And she got about halfway through, and she's like, I can't read this anymore. It's just racist and all sorts of stuff.
The films were relatively toned down, weren't they?
Yeah, it's not very.
Is GoldenEye that bad? Because that is a good one, and then there's the game, isn't it? So that's 007. That's coming out at some point. Nothing else really stuck out other than holy shit. So we got a brief a very, very brief look at Silk Song.
Yeah, there was
That was weird.
I'll tell you what was funny about that.
Weird, wasn't it?
I've got notifications for like when release dates change for games like through this thing, and it was funny because as soon as that happened, I got these notifications saying Silk Song like that. It's like, but it's just saying it was coming out this year. It's no dates or anything on it though.
Yeah, but then that's not even confirmed. Well, no, I mean they put 2025 up, right? But
Yeah, but no
do you
further
reckon
details.
It's coming out in
I still don't think it will. I still
No
don't think
idea.
it's going to happen.
No
It's,
idea.
Well, it shows they're not confident. Say 2025 instead of having like a winter. Like most of these said like winter or summer or stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
literally just said 2025, and also the trailer was for like 20 seconds long, if that. That was a real surprise considering it's a game that we've not seen for ages. That
And
it's
also-
almost gone into the World of Legends status.
I also thought that the next time that we'd see that would be at a Xbox event because I think it's coming to Game Pass and all that, and I thought that they'd done some sort of deal with Microsoft,
Which
but maybe
might
not.
explain why like Nintendo just chucked that out there. But surely, I don't know. I thought that was going to be a bigger thing. I thought they would have shown a little bit more of it.
Yeah,
Unless that was literally just Nintendo being like, well, last we heard, it was coming out in 2025. But we're not lying by putting that in the...
Before we go on to the final two games that they showed, well,
hang
hold
on. They got Star Wars Outlaws, so Matt can play it on
Matt can
Switch 2
finally
now.
play it. Well,
Yeah.
you could play, but you could play it on the consoles that he does own.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me.
chooses not to.
He just chooses not to. Didn't he pay for a month's worth of Ubisoft Play as well to play it? And then
I think so. Yeah, he went for early access and everything, and yeah.
Should we get into the first party stuff?
Yeah, because there's not much
Right.
else here, is there?
Well,
That's
let's start with the weirdest decision that Nintendo have made. They seem to have brought out an instruction booklet that they want you to buy. I don't quite get
Because that
it. What's
wasn't
it called?
initially clear, was it? I think we all saw it and assumed it would be a pack-in.
yeah.
Well, it looks really basic and like real. I don't get
Well,
it, man.
and
This was
also-
it, like... So, do we want to talk about the pricing and stuff now?
No,
this,
let's get back.
just
Let's
of
get
this?
back to
Okay.
that. Let's,
Okay.
because one of the crazy things about the pricing is that it seems to be so fluid as to
Yeah.
what they're charging for things. It's
Yeah.
there's not a set price for games. How they decide what makes I don't know. It's weird. But this is what was it called? It's called
It's Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
the welcome. They're calling it the Welcome Tour.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Welcome Tour. You have to pay even more than I know you've paid £400 for this, but we're not going to welcome you unless you give us an extra. Well, the rumours are that it's going to be
a fiver.
between £5 and £10,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5 right here, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like give us a fiver.
Which,
It's
in
like-
a
We're all
way,
gonna buy
is disappointing, right? Because from what they showed, it was like, okay, surely we've barely scratched the surface if they're charging money for this. And then if it had turned out, oh yeah, this is like 30 quid, I'd be like, right, that's shit, but also implies that there's way more to
There's
this.
a load to this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh no, it's a fiver. It's gonna be a half-hour experience, and I'm gonna be quite resentful of it.
It is disappointing in a sense because we don't know what this is going to be, but like with when you buy a PS5, you get Astrobot with it. That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That
we
does-
like that.
which also, like the whole point of that is also to introduce the machine and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of what this seems to be trying to do as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be as good as Astrobot. I've got
You're
a
gonna
feeling.
buy it, though.
No.
Oh
You're
yeah, I'll
gonna
probably buy
If
it.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
£5, you're gonna
If
buy
it's a
it.
fiver, I'll
That's
buy it. Yeah.
what's
For research.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem. We're
Yeah.
part of the problem because we
Yeah.
will buy it. Oh, £5 for a new thing. Fine.
We
What's
should
that? It does
say,
nothing.
Ryan Combain's pointed it out in the chat. Like Reggie has talked about the fact that like he had to really fight to get Wii Sports packaged in with the Wii. Like Nintendo did not want to do that, and I think like we have it in our heads that like that's a thing. Like Nintendo always have a really good pack-in game, whereas actually historically, not really.
No, they don't.
And
Like,
they don't
Yeah.
in Japan. I don't think they've ever really done that. It's always
No,
just the console.
Because
Right,
like the
but-
Wii U,
but
we got
just-
Nintendo Land, but in Japan you got a code for a Dragon Quest online beta or something like that.
Yeah.
It's completely
But
different.
just to reiterate the point and really drum this home is that this does not look like a game. The stuff they were showing of this, you were walking up to bits of it. It looks like you're inside the Switch or standing on the Switch or something. And the example they gave is that you walk up to the Joy-Con and said, "Where are the magnets in the Joy-Con?" Well, the magnets are hidden behind these buttons, and if you press, it was that stuff. It's that level stuff. It's not like, hey, jump into the control. The controller's going to make all this weird rumbling feeling.
They did have the whole look, you can hold the controller like a maraca. And you can do, you can do that stuff with it. And look, you can watch this, like Mario running through his thing and guess the frame rate. Like
iPint did that when the iPhone come out.
Yeah,
and that was 60p.
Yeah,
so
it's inflation. It's
yeah.
But I love it if it's like, here's how to replace the joysticks when they fucking break. We'll get to that in a bit. But yeah.
Okay. They also showed off Metroid again.
Yeah.
It looks better. It certainly visually looks a lot better than what we saw the week before. I was so confused though, because when we were talking about what our launch pack is going to look like, what we're going to buy on launch day, I was like, well, to be fair, I don't need much more than Metroid and Mario Kart. I'll be fine with that. Just those two games, the console, I can flick between a more serious game and Mario Kart, great. And then one of you guys or John went, it's not a launch game. And I went, yeah, it is. And I watched the trailer again and went, why was it in my head that it was a launch game then? Because I was so certain of it.
Because in your head you're going, there must be more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird, right?
That's the thing that I feel the most sort of like, not shocked, but kind of like a bit disappointed with this whole thing, in terms of like how much that like Nintendo first party stuff is coming like early on, because one game like Mario Kart World.
Yeah, I would feel worse about that had they not had another very, very good looking game coming out a few weeks later.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to, but yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
What they were showing, yeah, I mean, it's so close to launch day that it kind of feels like they're just giving Mario Kart a little bit of room to breathe, and then they're going to bring out, your next big game that you're going to want to get, or they're worried that people buying two games, is going to be too expensive for them, so they've sort of phased it out a little bit. I don't know. It feels like I'm less angry about that, knowing that there's another good-looking game around the corner from Nintendo. So that's how I feel.
But I thought Metroid Prime 4, it did look better. I still don't think it looks great, honestly. But it does have the whole thing of 4K 60 frames per second, like in docked modes. It had the mouse controls.
120 if you want.
Yeah.
Performance mode, 120 frames.
Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. So it should run really well at least, which is nice.
I mean, looking like that, you'd hope so.
So, should we get to the final few games that they showed off? The first being, I mean, it's a From Software game that. I mean, I was watching the trailer and there are bits of Bloodborne in it. Am I wrong? There were there's environments from Bloodborne in it, not like inspired by. There was literally there was that graveyard bit where you level up, isn't it?
I thought it was just of the same style. I didn't really recognize anything.
I don't think there's anything from I don't think there's anything from Bloodborne in it. It's.
Well, I think this is legally distinct Bloodborne, isn't it? I think. Yeah. What this feels like to me is that. Because obviously Bloodborne was a long time ago and everyone's been wanting a sequel or at least a remake or something. This feels like FromSoft wanted to do one and Sony wouldn't let them. And Nintendo said, hey, if you call it something else, we'll give you some money to do one. I am making all this up, obviously. But it feels very much like, it's Bloodborne, wink.
But it has a lot more like anime. There's a lot more like, "Hey, what's up, guy?" Like there's that sort of conversation going on. That was a bit more.
Visually, I didn't think this looked great, like at all.
I didn't look
but
bad.
then also the other thing that turned me off this immediately afterwards was when I found out it's a multiplayer game, like primarily. Like it's not.
Is it really? What
it's
a multiplayer game. It's PvP or PvE or what?
Bit of both, I think.
Right.
Which, and potentially I'm up for roaming about horrible Victorian London with some mates and killing some baddies, but I don't know. It depends how big the PvP stuff is.
Mm-hmm. I think
I've never enjoyed that in FromSoft games, so.
They kind of indicate it's like primarily like 8-player multiplayer game. That's how it's supposed to be played, which is that's why I was a bit less interested in this after I found that out, because I really like the solitary aspect of those games. You know, it's one of the cool things.
Even though we can play it all now with cameras, finally.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. One game that we did forget to mention before we move on, but I think it's Nintendo. And that was the Drag X Drive, although they called it Drag and Drive in the thing. This looks dreadful, doesn't it?
This was their ARMS game, isn't it? Like in a sense,
people have been saying that. I don't get that at all. But
no, because it's the thing that's there
using
to try and
controllers. I get that.
To try and show the new tech. You know, that's the idea.
Yeah, it looks so bad though.
It's right. I
really,
thought
really bad.
I watched it on the Treehouse bit, and weirdly, it looked a lot more fun when I was seeing people being a bit shit at it. Because from the trailer, it looked like it was so. You know, like we used to with a lot of Wii games where it's like, oh, you control the thing with the Wiimote, but then in actual fact, you were just doing a gesture and it was triggering a move and there wasn't really any fine control over it. Whereas watching people being bad at it, it's like, oh no, there's a lot of skill to this because you can really get it wrong. And somehow that looked more fun to me.
Right.
But I mean, in terms, like, there's zero personality to this game.
That's the thing that got me. Like, visually, it looks like someone had knocked it up in game.
It looked like a demo, right?
Like it's Game Builder Garage.
Like Game Builder Garage.
Concept,
that's what it looks like.
We should say, like, obviously, loads of wheelchair users are like, holy shit, bit of representation, thank you. Because initially I saw it and was like, oh, that's cool that this is, wheelchair basketball, but why do they all look like robots? Like, why can't they just be actual, wheelchair basketball players?
And why does it look like such a bad video game? That's the question I've been asking. Sure.
But I'd say that a lot of wheelchair users felt very, very seen by this, which is nice.
Sure, but it looks like a bad game. I'm not saying that it just looks like a really, really bad video game.
You deserve a good game.
Fine. You deserve a good video game. This does not look like it's going to be a good video game. I will say that up front. And of course, we should, again, this sort of comes under price stuff. And sorry we're jumping about a bit. As I said, this is the sort of thing that, we're always going to miss something that's going to frustrate the hell out of me when we move on. Before we get to the two big announcements at the end, should we talk briefly about what they're doing with Switch games? Because they made it very clear that there are three games, three types of games you can play on this system. You can play Switch 2 games, Switch 1 games, which have a slight improvement, a slight bump, just due to the hardware being better.
No, I don't think so.
No, there's nothing like that.
That's what they were reporting. I did read. There will be minor improvements planned on Switch.
I don't think
games on
so.
Switch too. Okay, all right.
There may be that could be stuff like load times. Maybe
there might be, but it's an accident.
Yeah,
right. But Not that they've purposely improved anything, but there's minor improvements by playing it on the Switch too. Then there is the Switch 2 upgrade stuff.
It's Switch 2 edition games, which is like.
Yeah, I don't know where I sit with this and how it's going to work because, again, it was one of those things that they spat out there and maybe there's been more reporting since that I haven't read, but are we going to... presumably you can put the card in and pay for the upgrade and that'll work.
So what we do know about that so far is that we know that for Zelda, if you've got the expansion pack stuff... You just get it, like it's included as part of
the online pass.
If you got, as long as you've got like the online pass for both, like for Tears of the Kingdom and for Breath of the Wild. You just get the
Switch 2 version.
Yes, you get the Switch 2 edition versions or whatever of those games.
Yeah.
But for the other ones, it's less clear what the upgrade path in terms of costing. I mean, the thing is like if you look, like they have got prices if you want to buy them like straight off. Like so if you wanted to buy like Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Isn't that like about 70 quid or something like that for like the for like the Switch 2 edition version. So we don't know how much they're going to charge if you've already got the game. Presumably like 20 or 30 quid, maybe. I don't know.
And can we talk about what happens when you buy one of those if you buy a physical copy?
Yes. Well, no, go on. What's this?
So if you get one of these Switch 2 enhanced, I don't know if this is all of them or some of them. I know in some cases this is definitely a thing. If you buy the physical version, you get a physical copy of the original Switch game and a download code for the new stuff.
Oh, that's fine, isn't it?
Is it? What about when you trade it in?
Well, yeah, I suppose you'll lose that upgrade stuff.
Yeah.
However,
that is a
it
Switch
also means
1 version of the game, and just preservation.
However,
but
it also
nightmare.
means that you can take the Switch. If you've got a Switch, you can use it on both systems. Then, surely that's an advantage worth having.
I mean, is it?
Yeah. So if you're buying Forgotten Land and your kids have got a Switch, I mean, it's a very specific use case. But if you're buying a game for your Switch 2, which was a Switch game, but you're upgrading it.
Yeah.
If you haven't got that on the Switch, you can then use that game on both the Switch and the Switch 2, which I don't think is a terrible idea.
I guess. I feel like that's making excuses for it, though. I think
no, because if I buy a Switch, because this is Switch enhanced games, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I buy that and then plug it, like if I buy that digitally, for example, I can use that both on the Switch, normal Switch, and the Switch 2, right?
Yeah.
But if I buy the hard copy and it's not got the Switch 1 version in the case, then I can only use that on the Switch 2. I think that's okay.
No, but isn't it okay? But it works whereby it is a code, right? That you get to upgrade it for the enhancements. So, like as Sean was saying, like if I have a copy of, let's say, Super Mario Party Jamboree, that then I buy the Switch 2 edition version of that. And then I decide, okay, I want to sell this now. You're only selling the original Switch version.
Yeah. But if you've already owned that game, why the fuck would you buy the Switch?
No, I'm using this as an example. Like if I now go out and I buy the Switch 2 edition game of this, I use the code to upgrade the standard copy that's in the thing, and then I want to
only buy the Switch you can only sell.
I can only sell on the Switch version.
Which I get, but I think that's I don't know. I see the advantage of doing it the way they're doing.
I just had a look, and like the pricing, like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, that's 65 quid for that one, and Super Mario Party Jamboree also 65 quid. Like if you're buying the Switch.
I tell you what, if you do have the Switch versions of these games, the price has just gone up on CEX because they were going down, but now they've got a bit of a bump there.
Because do we have prices for the upgrades? Yeah, I don't think we do.
No,
it's bizarre that I've heard different things from £10 to £20. I think most outlets that I've been listening to have said it's likely to be around the £10 mark.
Okay.
So not too bad. But I'll be honest with you, there's not many games that I'd pay an upgrade for.
It depends, because if they are adding more content to stuff and it's worth
which they seem to be doing, right? Which a lot of these, it should be said, the stuff that they were showing off, it was Switch 2 version plus, and then additional content along with it.
And we should
feels
say
a little bit like
because they said most Switch stuff will run on the Switch 2. It is running through emulation.
Yeah,
it's not like the Switch 2 can run both seamlessly. So these games that are being presumably like converted in some way, that represents a fair bit of effort. And then, as you say, with the additional content and stuff as well, like okay, people's time and expertise is going into this. They do deserve to be paid, obviously.
I'll tell you what's really interesting about that, because like you said, it's running like it's an emulated version of the original Switch, like it's running. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a load of fascinating things about like people saying like I tried playing this game and look, it runs like shit or whatever like that.
Yeah, I do wonder how many games have been fully tested.
Yeah.
Well, they did release some stuff about that. I mean, I would imagine that I think there's one game. I think this was on not Nextlander. I think they were talking about this. That there's one game they've confirmed definitely won't be, and it's the VR Labo game.
Yeah, anything that uses the IR sensor won't work, because that's the because you need it for that.
Yeah, and obviously screen size and all that stuff is different.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to hardware in a bit. Let's get on to the final two announcements. This is where the kids went ballistic because I was hyping them up because they said, right, that's it with the third-party stuff. No more third-party stuff. We've now got this to show you. Screen goes black, star shows up, and we're going, what? And I'm like, this is Kirby. Okay. We've had a lot of Kirby stuff on the Switch. There's a
we
lot
really have,
of Kirby stuff on the Switch, but okay.
When...
What I wasn't expecting was Kirby Air Riders. This baffles me on so many levels.
Oh, me too. Because as far as I'm aware, I'm the only person who liked the first Kirby Air Ride game.
But my point is this. They're just showing Mario Kart World. If you're going to release a racing game, this felt like, as an F-Zero fan, a big fucking middle finger to me. Like, how are you releasing a Kirby Air Ride game over a fucking F-Zero game?
Because people love Kirby. People love Kirby. They seem to be They seem to have really gone hard on Kirby recently because people seem to. It must be selling. It must be selling really well. I remember seeing the original one of these in. This was ages ago when it first came out. And I remember seeing it in HMV, picking it up, looking at it, and going, I'm all right, and then putting it back. Was it good, Sean? Was it a good game?
It was. So the racing stuff in it was fine. The mode that we used to play and enjoy was this. What was it? It's like city battle mode or something, where you'd all be put in this sort of little open world. And you'd have 10 minutes, and you'd all start on foot, and then basically all around this city, there's all power-ups and different vehicles and stuff, vehicles with all like different characteristics and what have you. And you would all be running around trying to get like a cool vehicle, trying to get power-ups, occasionally bashing into each other and having a bit of a fight. There'd be like weird little events, like bosses would appear and stuff. And then after like 5 minutes, it would give you a clue as to what the final event was going to be. So after the 10 minutes, there would be like an actual event that dictated who won, right? And it might be like a battle thing, or it might be like everyone flies off a ledge and they have to like hit a dartboard, or whatever. Like all these weird different events that could be at the end. So yeah, about halfway through, you'd get a hint as to what that was going to be. So you might see the hint and be like, shit, I need a car that's really good at flying. Or I need one that's really fast, or I need one, and then suddenly people start thinking, "Shit, I've got the wrong vehicle. I need to like take out this other player and get theirs." And it was great. It was such a cool idea, but that was kind of it, right? Like I say, the actual racing was not that great.
This to me felt like Microsoft showing the next Forza Horizon, and then later on, like about 10 minutes later, saying, "We've bought the crew, and we're going to bring out the crew game," and you go. Okay, but what? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And what? Yeah, it was bizarre.
Very
so the kids got very upset because they thought, oh, this is not what we want. We've never even heard of this game. We like Kirby and we don't want this. It was one of those sort of reactions.
At the start of that, like Asher thought it was going to be Smash Brothers because of the visual style and all that kind of thing. But it was not. Also, what about Hyrule Warriors?
That was weird. I mean, that's one game where I'd rather have a Switch 2 remake of the first. The second one. Do you remember the one that came out on the Switch? Like, I thought it was pretty good, but it ran like shit.
Did you ever? I reviewed the 3DS version of that.
Oh god, yeah.
And it was unbelievably awful. It was like single digit
I'd
frame
have
rate.
taken a rejigged version of the last one, but yeah, we're getting a new one apparently.
But this, I mean, I saw this, and because as soon as they started doing the whole like Zelda stuff, I was like, well, it's not going to be another Zelda game. Like, it's too soon for that. So it's going to have to be another one of these. Yeah. And it's I was quite disappointed.
I've got no interest.
I will play it.
Then
probably, but...
they ended with what was the biggest roller coaster in my fucking front room. So Harry has been waiting for a new 3D Mario since Odyssey, right? Like, he is obsessed with there being an Odyssey 2.
And like at his age, that is a lifetime he's waited.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. And And I was like, well, there has been longer waits, mate. but he has been, and he did say, do you think there'll be an Odyssey 2 announced in this? And I went, there could be, because I was really expecting Odyssey 2 towards the end of the year. I thought that was what was going to happen. It was almost as if they were taking the piss a little bit, because I've watched loads of reactions to the Donkey Kong Bonanza trailer, and is it Bonanza? Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make sure it wasn't Banana Nanza or something.
Well, because it's kind of because they've misspelt Bonanza on purpose, so it looks a bit more like bananas, but still not really.
Well, because it's just banana with a Z wax in it, isn't it? Yeah. so anyway, so we sat down and they're going, "Oh my god, it's Odyssey 2." I quickly noticed that it wasn't Odyssey 2 because one of the collectibles was spinning in the background. I was like, "That's not a coin, so it's definitely not Odyssey 2." And then when we saw the miners, the little Diddy Kong's mining, I was like, oh, Harry's going to lose his shit. And then when that first punch came through the screen, he was like, it's Bowser. And I was like, mate,
no, it's not.
It fucking is. He was fuming. And what was worse is that me and Charlie were going nuts because of how good this game looks. Like, honestly, I was blown away by this trailer. I was really, really excited. I'm not 100% sure that this is going to be incredible. However, this couldn't have shown better. This game, I thought it looked spectacular.
Yeah,
and
I thought this looked absolutely terrific, and it's especially because it's all the destructible, environments.
That's the hook, isn't it? It's Mario Odyssey, but you get to smash up the levels as much as you can. It would be amazing to find out how flexible that is.
I've been wondering this. Yeah.
Well, there is a because they one of the things I saw, I think it was on the Nintendo Today thing. They were talking about can you destroy the whole island? And it's like, yes, you can. Apart from there's steel struts that you can't destroy.
I was going to say there must be bones of it in there somewhere. Yeah.
But there is also if you press pause, you can reset as well, so it resets everything around. Because the trouble is obviously you could destroy stuff, so it's impossible to get things that you need to get. So, but yeah, it looks fully destructible, which I mean, this to me looked very like Odyssey in the sense of it felt like it was trying to do this is Donkey Kong's version of Odyssey, sort of thing, totally. which I thought was really cool.
You've always had a weird relationship with Donkey Kong, though, so I'm quite surprised you are positive. He's got a very negative reaction to Donkey Kong, Sean.
It's true, and it's because the thing is I don't really rate the Super Nintendo games that highly. I don't think they're that good. And but then
Donkey Kong Country is decent. I like Donkey Kong Country too as well. Fuck you, James, and both of you. Fuck everyone.
But then also, I mean, I remember playing Donkey Kong 64. That was also not very good.
That was
notoriously shit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was notoriously shit. I'd like to play it though. I've never actually played it because I couldn't afford an expansion pack, so I was never able to do it. That was one of the first games I bought when I was working in the co-op. Was it how much was it? Because I had an argument with someone at work about this. Was it 90?
No, it wasn't that high. I think it was about 70 maybe. But it came with the expansion pack because I remember rationalising the reason I was buying it. I was getting it with the expansion pack for Perfect Dark that was coming out later. That was the reason to get it. There
was a guy at work that we were talking about the price of Nintendo games for the Switch 2, and he went, "Yeah, I just wish we could go back to the N64 where games were 25, 30 quid."
No, they weren't.
No,
they really weren't.
You are misremembering that, my friend. To the point where I had to go and find an online Argos catalogue. This is how much I want to win arguments. I found an online Argos catalogue, went to the N64 page and went, look, 50 quid. And he was like, what? I was like, yep.
And that was 50 quid then as well, which, as everyone knows, quite a lot more. It's, it's kind of crazy.
I am very excited about this, and I'm very happy. There was part of me that was thinking, "Oh, this is coming at Christmas time." It's not. It's literally 4 or 5 weeks after the launch of the Switch 2, so it gives you a lot of it gives you a lot to be excited about after the initial buzz of Mario Kart World dies down. I am very, very much looking forward to this.
Because then because Metroid Prime 4 isn't that July? I think that's that.
I don't think they haven't said, have they?
Are they not?
Did they say?
I thought it was July because then I thought that's quite a nice that's quite a few months of pretty decent stuff. It looks like.
I mean, you should know. You should know.
Well, I did say I think it's July, but I can't be certain. I can't be certain. No, it is. It's in the thing. It's in here. It says it'll be released on Thursday, the 17th of July, 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, that is a good run then. That's 3 games in 3 months.
Yeah.
I think that's a better initial lineup than the Switch had.
Really?
If you forget that, I remember it so vividly that everyone thought the launch lineup for the first few months on the Switch was dreadful.
Yeah.
They were, I'd say they were lucky, but they did launch with my favourite game of all time. So I can't slag off the launch of the Switch too much. But
do you remember, like early days of the Switch, it was like every indie game that came out, everyone was like, "Holy shit, buy this!" Yeah, and it's like, well, in hindsight, they were fine, but we were just desperate for stuff to play on the Switch.
Yeah, do you remember that Snake game? I can't remember what it's called. The one that you had to like
Snake 3D or something. Yeah, it was like the one where you had to climb. What was that?
I don't remember, but it was...
I know the one you mean. It was the Team 17 one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think.
Was
it Snake Pass?
Snake Pass sounds right. That's what a terrible name for a game. But we were all like, so I'm playing Snake Pass and Tumbleseed. What are you playing? The same, because it's all that's out. All I remember is that they had a graphic of the upcoming games, and there was not a lot on there.
Yeah,
it included like
it
a
was
bunch
Snake
of indie
Pass.
games.
Although if you just Google Snake Pass, you just get the thing about the actual pass in England. So get working on that SEO, guys. Come on.
Okay, so that's the software done to death. Shall we get to the hardware? Because there's quite a few interesting things to say about this. Go on.
We got the hardware, but there is also all the online service stuff and the expansion pass stuff, which is quite interesting.
Let's do that first, then. Go on.
So you've got GameCube games coming to.
Yes, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Although the games that they chose to launch with are not. I mean, it's got one of my favourite GameCube games of all time. But
3 bangers there. You've got Wind Waker. That's amazing.
Yeah, but Wind Waker we played on loads of things quite recently.
That's maybe true. Although Ash is really excited because he's never played it, and because you can't play it on
the Wii U.
No, he never played it on that. He was too young.
The weird thing with Wind Waker is that the best version of it is still the Wii U one.
Yeah, it's true. And then there was Soul Calibur 2, which is that is a solidly good game.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to be playing that much.
I enjoyed
was
that
it
a lot.
3 where the rot started setting in? I
yes,
can't remember.
But 2 is like
was
it's like the apex of the thing. I think
I had the GameCube version of that. It was fantastic. Yeah.
And then
although Link never looked good in it.
No,
it looks so out. It looks so out of place with the rest of the game. It was a shit crossover.
You don't play as him anyway. Play as Link.
No, you don't. Yeah, you're right.
But then also like F-Zero GX as well, which
is one of my favourite games.
I think they showed Chibi Robo as well, and I don't know how that's aged. I have a feeling that's one that, like, when you go back, it's actually not as fun as people say. I think it was, it was quite weird and charming at the time. But I don't know.
I mean, according to Eurogamer, they said they spotted on this thing like Mario Sunshine. That's not a good Mario game. Also, Luigi's Mansion as well, which is a good
original
game.
Luigi's Mansion is really good. The ones that I really want on it are I'm just trying to look at a list of GameCube games now that really. I wonder if they bring Eternal Darkness to it. That'd be interesting.
I'd hope so, because although maybe that's aged badly by this point, but I have very fond memories of that game, of it being excellent, and then thinking that Silicon Knights were great, but they really actually weren't.
Double Dash.
Human, and you're like, yeah,
really want them to. I really want them to bring Double Dash to it, and also there was part of me that was like, Monkey Ball should be here, but it won't be here. There's no way Monkey Ball launch on this thing, and it kills me because playing that with the original GameCube controller again. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Monkey Bowling, like that, the ultimate Monkey Bowling with the ultimate pad to play Monkey Bowling. Holy shit, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, so this looks good because this is like, it's coming to, if you've got like the expansion pack thing for the Switch Online, it's included with all that. So, but it is also Switch 2 only. So, yeah, it's good.
What is this? Sorry, I'm looking at best GameCube games, and there's something called The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time Master Quest. What the fuck is that?
That was a so they released, it was like a double pack of it came with like this like Master Edition like repackaging of Ocarina of Time. That's right, yeah.
Yep.
Majora's Mask, I think, was in the collection as well, and also like NES games as well, like the NES ones.
But they were straight ports, weren't they? I think, or maybe did they have some changes? I can't remember.
I can't remember what it came with, but no, it was. I think it was even an exclusive to like the Nintendo store. Like you had to like buy.
No. I had a disc version with a collection of Zelda games.
Yeah,
I do remember.
That's the one I had as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit! What did that come with? Yeah, but my favourite memory of the GameCube anyway was the Pac-Man Versus. To be honest with you, and that's never coming out on this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine if they did though. You could totally do Pac-Man Versus with just online.
Yeah. It would work.
They will never do that.
No, they won't.
Such a shame. Such a shame.
So
that'd be perfect for the Switch. Okay.
So that was that, and then there was also all the chat stuff. I mean, do we want to do that before the hardware or not?
Well, the chat, I mean, that sort of leads into hardware, doesn't it? Because they're releasing a webcam for £50.
Yeah.
Although apparently you can use other webcams, but there's no guarantee it'll work.
Did you know, and I only noticed this because it was on Argos or something, they're not releasing just one webcam, they're releasing 2 webcams.
Yeah. There's a what's it called? The
Piranha Plant one.
Piranha Plant one, yeah. That's a third-party one, isn't it?
Fucking creepy as fuck. Stick this in your child's bedroom. It looks like one of their favorite toys, but has an internet camera in it. Ugh.
Do you know what I hate about the Switch 2 camera? The way they show this is the way that it's the way that it's stuck into the USB port on the top of the Switch, and I just think it looks really ugly. I just don't. I
plug
hate
into
that.
the dock.
That's what I'd hope. I'd hope you could do that because it looks awful like that.
Yeah.
It's just...
I'm blown away that there isn't a camera on the actual Switch 2 then. If they're going with this and they think this is a good idea,
that would make much more sense, wouldn't it? Because then you could use it because if you're playing in handheld mode, this is useless to you pretty much. Like all the chat stuff.
But also at the same time, whenever I play online video games with my mates, I never want to see their faces. Like I don't want to see them leaning back. And when they showed the example on how you could bring up your friends at the bottom of the screen and I don't want the TV to get smaller.
Yeah.
I don't want big black borders around where I'm playing and then having that. And to be clear, and before we get bad feedback, you can turn all that off and just go full screen and then just have people chatting or whatever. But I don't know, man. This felt like this is 20 years too late. This is what the Xbox Vision Cam was doing when the 360 launched.
One of my favourite reactions to this was Major Nelson saying, "Do they not know what happened with Uno?" Like with the camera.
Oh god. Relentless wanking. I mean, this will be on lockdown, right?
Yeah, it'll be
very restrictive.
Only with friends and all that kind of stuff.
Because I did think, like, this console will probably be where Isaac starts being at the age of like playing online with his friends, and I did think it would be a nice way for me at a glance to be able to see who he's playing with, and not have to worry about strangers, I guess, but. I still think that's making excuses.
Well, this is what's wild. This is what's wild, right? This is what's bizarre. Is that Nintendo have very much gone from, hey, we don't want to do voice chat because of what children can come across on the internet, and we don't. We want to do codes that are hard to access your child's computers. They've gone from that to fucking stick a camera in a piranha plant and stick it in their bedroom and visual chat. Like, fuck it,
then
go on.
If it's still as difficult to add friends on the thing,
which it will be, we know it will be.
I think that's probably still relative. I mean, Isaac's managed to add loads of people he's fucking played Splatoon with, and I've had to have a talk with him. It's like, you do realise these aren't friends, right? They're not real friends. So that's been awkward.
Isn't that how you made all your real friends? Because that's how I made all my real friends.
Sure, does New say this to you? Like, still? It's like, you do realise they're not friends.
Yeah, she's actually just out of shot, just whispering in my ear, like,
these aren't real friends.
But this will definitely be like all locked down, so you can only use it with people that you're friends with and all that kind of stuff, rather than just like whatever. But I can understand what they're doing, because like when Asher plays games, like he plays like Minecraft all the time, and he's always got like his phone up as well with a video call going on at the same time.
Yes, Harry does that. Yeah.
Makes sense. They were so in the the footage they showed of this, they were very honest about the video quality, weren't they?
Yeah, it looked fucking dreadful.
It's like, oh, you can bring like one of your friends' footage like on like full screen and see what they're doing. It's like, yeah, and,
at 3 frames per
480p.
second.
Yeah.
It was like when I tried to join the Fortnite stream on and was using a bad USB cable for my Elgato.
Oh yeah.
So
See, I actually refreshed my stream like a couple of times because I thought there was something wrong, like with the stream.
That's what's so funny about this, isn't it? Because so the other week we did that Fortnite stream where I had like one big, one player that was like taking up most of the screen, then the other players were sort of small ones, and we all agreed afterwards like this doesn't really work, like it's just quite frustrating to watch. And then Nintendo's like, hey, guess what we've invented?
video chat.
But also, you know that it's not going to be very good, isn't it? Because none of their stuff, like online stuff, is ever very good. It never works particularly well.
I don't care like what sort of processing gubbins is going on. A microphone that's like 3 meters away from you is never going to sound brilliant.
No.
So,
but someone was blending in the background, Sean. Someone was blending. Someone was blending in the background, and it was still. Did you not see that bit?
Yeah,
it's like you could talk, and no, that's not.
I mean, the other thing that's kind of it is, I think, a bit shitty about this is that, like, I think it was like Kyle Bosman, with his like YouTube series was talking about this, with the fact that you've actually got a button now on a Nintendo controller that is behind a paywall.
Yeah,
like
this is all part of the online subscription.
Isn't
it?
So, and it's like it's going to be free for a while, but then obviously they're going to charge for it, which means you've got an actual button that doesn't work unless you pay to use it. And like none of the other consoles have that, as being like, there's nothing like that. It's
like in an ideal world, like let people reassign that button to do something else, but it's not going to happen.
Turns out the C stands for cash.
Yeah.
Whoa. You can use that while you're a gamer if you want.
Also,
you can't. Go on.
I need to call them that.
So we're done with that. But there was also the game share.
Well, before we get to that, can I talk about another feature for the Switch 2 that I don't understand?
Go on.
The mouse. This is my prediction that this is the IR blaster. It will be used in launch window, and that's it. I don't think people are going to be using this at all. I can't imagine why anyone would want to use this.
I think I'm not so sure about that, because I do think there's a use case for using this for, like, for example, like if you want to play like Civ 7, it'd be great for using that rather than using a controller. Also, like,
who's playing Civ 7 on a Switch?
A lot of people. Like a lot of people. There's that, but then there's also like stuff like Minecraft and stuff as well is better with a mouse. Like it really is, and it's like with mouse and keyboard. And this would allow.
I want to play it on mouse and keyboard though. It's not like that's not a depth. And also, when you're playing portably. Mm-hmm. You've got
when you're doing that, obviously,
things, and then I've got nowhere to put.
Yeah, that's never going to work. But if you're playing it in like tabletop mode, or you're playing it on like TV potentially, then
no one plays in tabletop mode, James.
Well, they were really,
and that's it.
They were really pushing it like tabletop mode. I thought like in this, they seem to be going on about it quite a lot. But
pushing their fucking luck.
I mean, I think you're right. I don't think it's going to be like a major thing, but there will be like an audience for this, because like with Metroid as well, like there was people that were were demoing it, and they were like playing it with like mouse controls at like 4K 60 frames.
Yeah, but apparently it feels great.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I'm sure it does, but I've got zero interest in doing that, because if I'm playing it in handheld, I want to hold the fucking thing and just not sit up and hunched over a small screen setup on it. And when I'm playing it on the telly, I don't want to be rubbing things up and down my legs while I'm controlling shit. And but it's like you've got to remember as well that these Joy-Cons, they're only slightly bigger than the current ones.
Yeah.
Hold one of those sideways and try and use it as a mouse.
Yeah, it won't be
really
terribly
fucking uncomfortable. Yeah, really uncomfortable.
True. But it's like, as Ben says in the chat, it's like it's not going to be a majority thing, but it will probably get a lot more use than like things like the IR.
I'm not convinced, because I think games will still need to support it, and I just think a lot of people will drop any support for that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like. If I ever end up streaming any Switch 2 stuff, I'll be at my desk. If the option is there, I'll try it. just out of curiosity. But yeah, I can't see myself using it long term, really.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something. And that's me when I am sat at my desk. I've no interest in using this on the sofa. I think that's going to be it'll fuck my wrist up if nothing else. I get really bad RSI if my wrist's like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't see how it is going to be a big use. But anyway, sorry, what was the other thing you wanted to talk about before we got to the actual Switch itself?
So there's also the game share stuff that they're doing. As it says here, for selected Nintendo Switch 2 titles, which is where
confirmed, this is the one. Oh, this is where they've been doing this for years though on their portable consoles, right?
This is it's because a lot of they did this.
Mario
this
Party
on,
games used to do this.
Yeah. So it's like where
or whatever.
Like one player can host the game, and then three other people can then join, and they don't have to own the game, but they can also play it. But at the moment, this is like a select number, and apparently the first one is going to be the 55, 57 all-time classics, whatever it's called.
Oh, good.
We still play that quite regularly. That
do
game.
You? Fair enough.
Yeah. And you're going to hate me as well because it's mainly Ludo. We mainly play Ludo.
The worst game ever invented.
Dreadful.
Fun, man. It's fun.
No, I've never tried that with Isaac since he was old enough to appreciate that stuff. That might be worth a go. No, what I didn't twig about this is that some games like games can support it online as well.
Yeah.
Like not just. I assumed it was just a local multiplayer thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you can beam it online.
Fast Fusion, which is the sort of Wipeout looking one, by Shinen, who always like. I'll tell you now, that'll be the best looking game on Switch 2 for quite a while because they always do this. Every time
it looks incredible, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of new Nintendo hardware comes out, and they somehow just out of the gate get the best out of it. It's mad. Anyway, but yeah, apparently online you can share your copy of it with mates to play multiplayer. Which is quite cool.
It's pretty. I mean, this sort of stuff. It's nice. It's nice to have stuff like this, but we'll see how many games actually use it. I mean, for example, Mario Kart's not going to use this. Like, that's not going to happen. So it's going to be up to
want to sell 400,000 copies of it.
Yeah.
So there's some positives around the new machine, and we will move on. I know not everyone wants to hear about the new Nintendo console, but it's kind of what we all care about on this podcast.
It's sort of massive. I think it's fair enough on a video games podcast.
I'm very happy that you get to use your old controllers on it.
Yes.
And that wasn't a given. So I'm glad that they did confirm that your old Switch. They're selling a new Pro controller with this thing, which looks amazing. By the way, does look very pricey at £75, but it does look really nice.
Yeah.
But they've said, your old Switch Pro controller works, which mine works perfectly, like still in very good nick. So it's good to know that when we get that console, we can play 4-player Mario Kart without there being a problem. We've got enough Joy-Cons. We've got enough, so that's fine. That's a welcome thing. And what else do I like about this? I mean, it looks nice. I like the magnet stuff. That looks pretty cool. But really, it is just sort of a Switch, a better Switch.
I mean, as Eurogamer say here, they says there's the new stand which won't just snap off. Apparently, like the one on the original Switch.
Fucking flimsy though.
Yeah,
it doesn't look as solid as the OLED edition one, does it?
No, the OLED one's really good.
It's really robust.
Everyone's made this joke, but it was very funny when they showed off all the stuff with the new hardware. And they're like, as you can see, it's not just a slightly improved Switch. It's like, I don't know.
My favourite is where they went, we rebuilt everything from the ground up. And I was like, what? And then just ended up at the Switch anyway. Like, how did you just get back? I'm absolutely delighted that I called the red cartridges.
The red cartridges.
Console. Thank you, everyone. Little prediction there. Should have put it in my predictions for the year, but
then also there's like caveats with that as well. That obviously there's been.
We need to talk about
this. They don't taste as nice.
I'm sure they're also going to taste disgusting. Well, we'll have to do a test on that at some point to see if that's the case. But
we all did that on this podcast. We all licked one on the podcast. We did an episode where we all got one and we licked a Switch because that's what content was back then.
Yep.
All right.
All the time.
But then there's the whole thing where there's the option for developers to release or publishers to release games where there's no actual game on the card, and it's just it's a key to download from the server.
Right, which is pretty much how most PlayStation and Xbox games work, right?
Well, this is the thing. It's like in a lot of ways, I do get it because, especially with like tiny storage mediums like cartridges or whatever. I mean, they're basically glorified SD cards at this point, but they're fucking expensive, and especially as games are getting bigger, access times need to be quicker. Like that cartridge format is not really viable anymore, and that's why they've landed at this fairly shitty solution that there's no actual game on it. But as you say, Dave, it's not really a million miles from if you buy a physical game on PS5 or Xbox, the disc is kind of a gesture, really, isn't it? It's
out of date by the time the game's out, so you're not going to be able to play that game.
Yep.
But then also the Switch itself comes with it's 256 gig of storage, which is a massive increase on the 32 that the original launched with. But games are going to be a lot bigger this time around, especially because there's going to be support for 4K as well, so that's going to increase sizes. And those the SD cards that you can buy for it, you can't use the ones that we already use. You have to buy it.
Fucking expensive.
Yes, they're really quite expensive. Yeah,
so when I looked, it was for a 256, it was going to be 80 quid.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money for 256. That's worse than the SD cards that Sony are using, right?
Yeah. It's. do you mean like the memory duo ones that they had for the Vita or whatever?
Oh god,
the M dot. No, the M dot. I nearly said M dot R, but isn't that
the NVMe drives?
Yeah, what are they called? They got a special name.
Yeah, they're
SSD things on the.
Yeah. But they're not that expensive now because they've gone down. Yeah, they've gone down in price quite significantly.
Yeah, no, they're under £100 for 1 terabyte now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I get why they're enforcing this, because anyone with a Steam Deck who's tried to get away with putting a cheap SD card in it, fucking don't even bother. Even just installing large games, it can take days because the SD card's just hang on, I know you've downloaded 5 gig, just give me a minute. I need to figure out what is this. It's fucking nightmare. It's not worth it. So I get it. But
then also, this is also though one of the things for if the games are mostly just going to be if the cartridge is just going to be keys basically, there's going to be a lot more reliance on that internal storage than there was, for the other Switch games.
Yeah, there's no sort of if I mostly buy physical, then it doesn't matter. Yeah, it will. Yeah.
So Xbox proprietary memory system, which is again the high-speed SSD stuff, £120 for a 1 terabyte at the moment. And what are these things called? What SD cards? Mega. What are they called? It had a real shit name.
Yeah, they're called. Oh, I looked at this a second ago. It's a micro SD Express card.
Express card. Sounds like you've got some sort of point system that you can scan before you get your sandwiches because you get your 5th sandwich free or whatever. I'm not sure about this. It's that is a worry.
We're going to be. You can always bang the drum for preservation. All this shit is a nightmare.
Well, exactly. This is terrible for preservation. But I mean, we're going to be cleaning the fridge again, aren't we? That's what's going to be going on with this all the time because there's not going to be enough space.
A 1 terabyte Extreme, but SanDisk Extreme, that's not the same, is it? I'm just looking at different. I don't think you can get a 1 terabyte micro SD Express card.
Maybe not.
This is going to get nasty. I don't like it, but okay. Well, we are where we are.
I mean, who knows? It may well be that the Switch 2 more or less ends up just being a really good indie machine again. Maybe this stuff won't matter so much. Because realistically, how many years of brand new AAA stuff are you expecting to see on this thing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. Okay. Is there much? Well, we're getting into pricing already now, aren't we? So this is a complicated one. At first, I was quite surprised that it was quite reasonable at $395?
$395.99. Yeah, the UK.
Which is a weird price point anyway. It's $395.99, so £396. It was a strange number. And then what was even weirder was it's 435, is it, for the console with Mario Kart?
It's 42999 apparently according to Eurogamer. Yeah.
I hate this. I hate this SKU. I think it's dumb. I think it's stupid, and it's actually really unfriendly to consumers, to be honest with you, because the moment you introduce the second SKU, most people are going to want to go for the one with Mario Kart, because you're not buying the Switch without a game, and its biggest game that's coming out with it is Mario Kart, right? There will be people that are not interested, and there should be the option to not buy Mario Kart with the system if you don't want to buy Mario Kart with the system. But what I'm saying is that there's going to be a select amount of SKUs that include Mario Kart at this much lower price. You're relying on people getting to, and if you're not lucky enough to get one of these, but you still buy a Switch on day one, fuck you. You're going to be paying £65 for the game.
No, you're paying, it's like or potentially more, because if you buy the physical, copy, it's £75.
Oh, that's
and
right.
if you buy the digital copy, it's 67, which is
67.
Yeah,
it's like on the
why
one
they
hand,
didn't turn around and say all consoles come. Well, once you log in, you've bought this, or you register your console. You have 4 weeks to buy at this Mario Kart at this discounted rate. Then you've not got 2 SKUs. You've not got I've pre-ordered this, but this one might come. This but it's honestly it's bullshit. I fucking hate it. I actually hate it.
Yeah, it's like on the one hand, obviously I'm happy to get the saving by getting the bundle, but as you say, for anyone who can't get hold of the bundle, which realistically is going to be a lot of people,
it really will.
Such a fucking middle finger, like such a price increase to buy Mario Kart.
And also, the price of Mario Kart here is like we've talked about it already, like this variable pricing of stuff. It does feel very cynical. Like the fact that you've got physical Mario Kart for £75. And then you've got physical Donkey Kong. It's like 67 quid instead. It does feel like they know people are going to pay that.
In direction as well, didn't it? Because it was always with Nintendo consoles, the physical version was cheaper than the digital version, right?
Yeah, usually, yeah.
So now this is the other way around. They clearly want to push people towards digital, and I'm assuming it's because they're actually actively trying to go for the second-hand market now, as you say, with the what they're doing with the upgrades.
I think it's partly that. I think it is partly, like you said, that like trying to produce these games physically in a storage medium that will work in a handheld console is really expensive now.
But also, they don't have to worry about physical retail so much anymore, do they? Like, if you think about like previous generations, they had to rely on places like Game and stuff to to promote and to push their stuff. Whereas now they don't exist anymore. Like there's hardly any of them around. So who cares?
Yeah, this stuff it is shockingly expensive.
Yeah,
and Nintendo have always been slightly more expensive than others. They've always been. They've never. But this is still.
See, especially the
£75 for a Mario Kart game is a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially because you see, like Switch games were generally cheaper than forget about Game Pass, but as in like Xbox Series games or PS5 games, generally were more like first party ones, generally more expensive, and then so I was thinking at least maybe they'll just take it to the same level as as the other platform holders, but no, they've taken it and then just smashed through that and just made it even more expensive. It's
and I know we talked about because there's the rumblings about Grand Theft Auto 6 costing more, and I said at the time I think Grand Theft Auto 6 will get away with it. I don't know about anything else. And I do and obviously Mario Kart's a big deal, but we know that one of Nintendo's strengths is by not being part of the same sort of race for fidelity as other platform holders and developers. Like, video game development is expensive no matter what, but they have saved a lot of money by not running that same race as everyone else. Like, we've seen that Nintendo, like, their sales are not as big as Sony or PlayStation, but their profit is much bigger because their games are a lot cheaper to make.
Yeah.
So, and again, this is no judgment on how good Mario Kart is going to be, but the development costs of Mario Kart World will be a fraction of Grand Theft Auto 6's.
Yeah.
So to justify the a similar price is I don't know, man. It feels icky.
Yeah, it feels shit. What I think is I think a consideration is that Nintendo were always the family-friendly brand, right? They were the Disney. They were the, mum and dad and auntie whatever wants to play Mario Kart because everyone wants to fucking play Mario Kart. But now it's like, Dad, can we get Mario Kart? £75.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Are you taking?
And like Nintendo stuff is notorious for not dropping in price as well. And it's like, be happy with that, Nintendo.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I do wonder whether there is going to be like a bit, not a backlash, but as in they're not going to sell as much as they probably think they're going to at these prices.
Down, so
because, and I wonder if there will be.
I did see someone post up a video of the Nintendo Switch when I saw the price, and it was when we first saw the Switch a few months ago, and it evolved from a Switch, and it all blew up. It was that in reverse. It was the Switch 2, and it just went back into a Switch shape. It really made me giggle. That was good.
But no, I do wonder if there's going to be like a 3DS style like revision in the sense of like, because you remember when that came out, that was like quite expensive and it didn't do very well, and they had to climb down a bit. Whether there'll be a bit of a climb down with the prices on these, because it is ridiculous. Like, honestly,
I really
look at
hope
these.
so. I really hope they review all that.
I mean, also the other thing I was just looking at with the hardware, like, because on Eurogamer they've got listed here like all the price for the different like things that you can buy and everything. One of them is a Joy-Con 2 strap for £13. Now, I thought Joy-Cons came with straps like originally?
Have they confirmed whether it comes with 2 straps?
I don't know, because they've got them listed here as £13 for like a Joy-Con 2 strap. So it would be quite funny if they don't come with straps, and then it's like, I mean, this is the proper Apple approach. This is of just like separating everything out and then charging a fortune for each thing.
They must have 2 straps included.
And these are quite
bundles. Wait, I might be able to find out. Okay. Switch 2 includes Nintendo Switch 2 console, Joy-Con left and right, 2 Joy-Con straps.
Oh, okay.
It is included. Yeah.
But if you
Nintendo Switch 2 dock, grip, AC adapter. That's Sean's prediction out of it. Ultra high speed HDMI cable. Switch 2 important information leaflet, which is a game they're trying to sell as well. So that's a weird thing to include. And then a Mario Kart World download code. So that's what annoys me, that the Switch 2 one doesn't include like. I hope they address that. I hope there's enough backlash where they go, okay, if you could only get the Nintendo Switch 2 one, here's to go to get the discount or the difference off of Mario Kart World. I really hate that approach. I really, really fucking hate that approach. I think it's so consumer unfriendly, and it really worries me that the only way this works is if there is more enough consoles to go around, and looking at what's been going on this week, there will not be more than enough consoles to go around unless we get America's ones.
That's true. Yeah, they're doing nothing.
Should we move on to that? Because that's like the next
better ad
story.
It's been an hour and a half, so
Okay. Let's briefly touch on this, because we're supposed to be answering. It's supposed to be a listener interaction special. We're an hour and a half in. We haven't got to a single message.
So. Yeah, because this was the whole thing around pre-orders, because we can talk about that a bit. I mean, I'll just go into this briefly. So obviously they were going to have pre-orders were going to go up in the US, and they have now been suspended, and because they were going to go up on the 9th of April, but that's not happening now. And Nintendo have said that they're going to announce later. The launch date hasn't been affected. It's still coming out in 2025, but we don't know when it's happening. And this is because of the tariffs that Trump has enacted. And I mean, there's been like. It's insane, because you see the biggest problem here is like it's China and Vietnam, because they've been hit with like huge tariffs, like 54% for China, and actually another 50% today on top of that as well, in retaliation for China's retaliation. It's it's wild, because they cannot predict presumably how this is going to land around that time, so they can't. Yeah, they're delaying.
Because is it right? Pre-orders. Nintendo moved their manufacturing to Vietnam, right?
They moved,
in order to dodge previous Trump tariffs.
They moved, part of it, to Vietnam as well, and then Vietnam got really badly hit. But there's obviously still stuff in China as well that is being produced, because all of these things, they're all like components from all over the world. You know, like for different things. It's like I remember, like Chen used to work for a company in Shanghai that was a Japanese company that used to produce like tape. Like it's like the sticky tape that you use. It was they were like a rival to 3M, and like their customers were like it was like Sony was a customer, but like Apple was a customer as well. And it's like this stuff sourced from all over the place, and it's so every component here is affected. So it's
isn't that why they say like the sort of infamous Foxconn facilities and stuff? One of the reasons they're so good is that actually they produce a lot of the stuff essentially on site.
Yeah,
because it's basically an entire city, like
which has
to build
everything.
iPhones or whatever. Yeah, it's like so much of it,
and that
doesn't need shipping around from other places. But usually, yes,
that's part of the craziness with whatever whatever Trump thinks that is going to happen here. If he thinks that they're going to be able to recreate Shenzhen in like, just like in 3 to 4 months, as people were saying, like that's not going to happen.
No.
But then also the other interesting thing is in Japan, they're releasing like a Japanese only version of the Switch, which is cheaper.
That's right. Yeah.
Which only plays Japanese games and
fully region locked.
Yeah, it's fully region locked, and it's cheaper than the others as well. But then
I'm too stupid to understand why that might be a good thing. Is that something about essentially keeping a certain amount of money local?
It could be. I think it's probably also a very good way of undercutting like Sony as well, because it is it is cheaper, and I mean it's like the equivalent of $334, which is quite a lot cheaper than the US version. So it makes sense for them to do that, I guess. But they also will have a multi-lingual region-free version available as well, but for more expensive. But I mean, the whole tariff thing is crazy, and we don't really know where this is all going to land. Just so far, we're not impacted yet, but we'll see.
So let's get on to pre-orders, because I'm actually a little bit pissed off with this. I think this happened with the previous released consoles. The fact that the company announced the dates that pre-orders are going to be taken, and retailers just want to jump ahead of the game with it, and I don't think it helps anyone. So the majority of when the pre-order stuff came out, I was either working or I was busy, and I wasn't by my phone the whole time. So when I come back, it was like, Smiths has had their pre-order. Oh, they're all gone now. And it's like, fucking great. So how was I ever going to get a console if that was the case? Of course, James was sorted because Nintendo sent him a fucking direct message 2 seconds after announcing the fucking machine.
We've put you down for 10 already, mate.
It's true. I got a thing for them like really quickly, just saying like, you have been selected to purchase one of these.
I mean, it was wild. Then I had the awful situation where I'd found out that Amazon were doing pre-orders by invitation. So you had to go onto their website, go to that section of the website and hit interested. So when I did that, I put it in a WhatsApp group. Quick, Amazon are doing invitation only. You got to press this button. Okay, done it. They all did it after that. They all got the email saying, do you want to pre-order? I didn't. I didn't get a fucking email asking me to pre-order. So I was like, obviously they would have found out anyway. So I'm not like really bitter about it. But I was kind of like, they must know that I've shared it with these guys, because that's how companies work now.
And I wondered whether this was because I thought maybe it's to do with like having like Prime or something like that. But I don't even have Prime in the UK anymore.
No,
and it's like
Prime.
I
I do want to say this, and I feel weird about saying this, right? So, and I'll get to this. I'll cover all bases of this. But James and Matt are definitely part of the fucking problem.
How?
Let me explain. I just want a pre-order, and I can't get one anywhere, right?
Yeah, so do I.
And we'll get into that. You will happily take 7 pre-orders.
No, that's not true. I wanted to get...
You fucking would, James.
I wanted 2 pre-orders, and the reason for that is because my son also wants to buy one because he's been saving for it for like 2 years. That's why I wanted 2 pre-orders.
You've got a pre-order, right? You've got a pre-order through Nintendo.
I don't know that yet, because I've got the letter to say that you can do it on this day, and then it will happen. But see, I've got problems with this because my account is like Nintendo UK, right? And I don't know if they're going to ship to Germany or not, is a thing. So Chen might have to get on a plane. And
no, you're not going to do that.
No,
you can't. Well, actually, I would love you to do that for the show. I mean, it's amazing content. But I've got a question for you. Right?
Go on.
You get 1 pre-order.
Yeah.
They're sending it to Germany.
Yeah.
Is it yours?
Of course it's mine. I'm paying for it.
You are fucking kidding me, James.
Why?
But he's got the money because he's got the money. He's paying with his own money.
He hasn't paid yet. So it's like he hasn't paid me anything yet.
Sean, right? This is the twisted situation, right?
Yeah.
So James has been justifying getting two, right? To me, I've been going, I cannot believe you're getting two of them. He said, no. Asher he's saved up for ages. He's saved up for ages. He was saying that so I wouldn't take the piss out of James for buying two of these consoles on launch day, right?
Yeah.
That's why he was saying that. But now that I've brought this logic into it, he's now saying, no, I'm paying for it.
No.
If there's only one Switch
there's only
going,
one,
then Ashley can go fuck himself.
Yeah,
basically.
Because if there's only one, it'll be through the Nintendo store and it'll be through my account. Like it'll be through that.
Right.
So,
but take the money off of him that he's been saving for. James, look, I'm telling you this as a friend, mate. If you only get one, it's got to be Asher's.
Yeah.
You can use it. There's no reason why you can't both use it, right?
All right. Okay.
James, come on. He says, all right, okay. This is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. And the reason why, right, okay. Going back to you and Matt being the problem, Matt has like 14 pre-orders on the go here. And he's just like, well, I'll just cancel them if I need to. Yeah. Well, that's brilliant. But for the people that can't get a pre-order, you're taking up someone's pre-order.
Well, I might have to have one of Matt's now.
Because
from this.
because part of you is going, well, I can't do without. I'd rather have 18 pre-orders just to make sure I get one. Like, it just, honestly, that feeling of, well, I've got nothing to do today.
But hang on, David.
Rack up my pre-orders.
You've done all right out of this because...
This is where I'm getting
Because why have you got a Switch 2 coming?
This is why I'm conflicted over this. Because James has for some reason, got a UK Amazon pre-order.
Yeah.
And he's sending it to my house, right? Which is...
See,
I
appreciate that. That was going to be Asher's. You see, that's what that was for. So
it
was because I was going to get the one from the Nintendo store, and then I was trying to source another one for him. You see, so I would thought, okay, Amazon UK, I tried that with, and Amazon Germany, and so
why would you do Amazon UK? You don't live here.
Yeah, I know, but I still have the opportunity to come over and pick it up and stuff like that, or Chen does.
I cannot believe you would rather send someone over to the UK to pick one up than to share your Switch 2 with your son.
No, of course, no. This is bullshit, right? Because obviously we will share it. Like, whatever, if we only get one, we're going to share it. That's what's going to happen. But, if we also there's the opportunity where he can have one of his own, what's wrong with that? If he's been saving for that, what's wrong with that?
Because you've got to send Chen over on a plane again. She's sick of it, mate. She's sick of it. This is why Nintendo sent you a guaranteed pre-order, because they're like, listen to this guy.
No, I don't understand what the problem is here, right? Okay, I'm going to buy one for myself, as you are, and as Sean is, and as Matt is, right? What's wrong with that?
Well, yeah, but my kids are going to use it.
And then, so are mine. But then also, my son has saved money.
Not.
Of course that, but then also my son has saved his own money so he can buy his own one. What the fuck's wrong with that? I don't understand.
Because
he doesn't have the means you have to place his own pre-order.
I know. But that's why I've been trying to... Which is why I tried to get one through Amazon Germany and through Amazon UK, because I was trying to...
But if you couldn't get one, he's just not getting one.
Well, yeah, obviously.
That's not obvious, James.
This started by you saying that if we only get one, it's mine, and that's because it was through my Nintendo account.
Yeah. But obviously, if it's mine, but obviously we'll share
obviously. Stop saying obviously.
It's not obvious.
He's still going to share it, when it comes. That's definitely going to happen until I can source one for him. It's...
Feedback next week's
Why can't you just say...
Good.
Why can't you just say... I'm buying him his Switch 2 because I don't want him fucking up my one, and I've got the money to do it.
But that's not the truth, because he has been saving, for the whole time.
Okay.
I don't get what is so weird about this. I really don't. I don't understand.
What's weird about it is that he is a child, and is more excited about this than you are, to the point that he's been saving for ages. So get him one first. Then
Yes, sure.
worry about yourself.
Okay, I'll do that, and then what we'll do is when we're talking about it on the show, I'll put him on instead of me. So he's
All right,
the one who's
good.
got it, and
Fucking love that. It'd be better at the news.
Thanks. Fuck you all.
But Matt is part of the problem with his 14 pre-orders. It might as well doesn't cost me anything. But just come on, mate. You've got
because chill out. So I got my Smith's pre-order in, and then I got like the invite from Amazon. I just thought, nah, I can't be bothered with like managing. Well, I'll probably fucking forget and end up with three Switch 2s at the house. So yeah, I've stuck.
End up losing the house. I was going to say though that what the weird thing about the Amazon one, and this is the same for everyone, is the Amazon one says it'll be delivered on the 7th, and it's like, well, and Matt was like, fuck that. I was like, well, no, not fuck that, Matt. If it's 2 days later, it's not the end of the world. Of course it is for him. But to summarise, somehow I think we all are due to be getting one on launch day.
Well, I might not be. It's so,
Don't get bitter at us because we're looking out for your son.
Yeah. Someone has to.
We are looking out for your child.
But it may even work out that the Nintendo Store thing doesn't work out anyway, and then we'll end up with nothing. So that's also a strong possibility that could happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be fun.
It's I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. I think retailers went out there really quickly. There are rumours that there's going to be more pre-orders. I mean, Smith's had some more pre-orders up today.
They had another window. Yeah, because I sort of put the pre-order in thinking, this will probably go nowhere, but why not? And then, they later opened up more, so presumably that's positive.
It does kind of make me think, it's like when you buy tickets for something that's really sought after. Mm-hmm. If there's like pre-orders are coming along 9 o'clock this date, fine, you give yourself a fighting chance because you know when, and of course websites will go down and all this, that and the other. But just to randomly start popping up is just like, well, that doesn't help anyone, does it? It doesn't help anyone because people with bots are already refreshing the page to see if they come online. They're going to get in there first anyway. You've got no chance of getting one. It's so frustrating. And, it limits people like Matt getting 14 pre-orders.
How many is he actually? I thought he was on like 3 or 4 or something. Is it more?
Yeah, he's on like 4, I think. Okay. Yeah,
I might be relying on Matt now, to come up with one.
Funny. If you're buying one to be from the UK to send to my house, and Matt has to buy one from the UK to send to yours, it's fucking weird, twisted way of doing things. What killed me is that the Argos pre-orders went up, and I could have bought one there and then. But then Matt was like, "Well, they charge you straight away," and I was like, "I don't know if I'm ready for that yet."
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, are you getting any accessories, James? Are you getting one of the cameras?
No.
All right.
I'm not. I'm thinking about getting the Pro Controller though because it looks. Really
I
nice.
want to get a Pro Controller. It just looks really nice.
I'm going to get that and loads of Joy-Con straps. Just like loads of them.
You never know. Just quickly before we move on. So apparently people have been asking, obviously, because the Joy-Con sticks were notorious for failing all the time. So everyone's been asking Nintendo, are the new ones Hall effect sticks, which are these nicer ones that use magnets instead of whatever the old ones use, and they're much more reliable. And basically, Nintendo's answer has always just been, these sticks are better than the old ones. They will not say what has been done to them. Apparently, they are improved. But that's all they'll say on the matter. So who knows?
We will see. Well, that's probably a no then, isn't it?
Probably a no. It's either a no or it's someone's written a comms strategy where they're like, Hall effect is nerd jargon. Do not fucking say it. Just tell them they're better. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, right. We really got to move on. We're an hour and 45 minutes
now the
into
intro
our
out the way.
Interaction special, and we haven't read out one message yet. So
can I just go to the toilet?
You can go to the toilet. Yeah.
Thank you. I need to calm down.
Come on, that was good.
It was good.
I've been wanting to review about that for fucking ages.
I know. I knew that you would be. I thought that's happening. It's yeah. Back in
a bit. He is fucking insane. That guy.
He is. Poor Asher.
Well, it'd be mine, wouldn't it? It was that the first confession.
If he was just like, oh yeah, Asher wants his own as well, but I don't really want to spoil him, or so we'll share one for a bit, and then later on he can have his own or whatever. They're fine. But it's the fact that he made a point of saying several times, Asher's been saving for 2 years for his own. I fucking goddamn.
Come on, off. It's mine. Thanks for the sub, Pubis. Appreciate y'all. I feel really bad that we did listener interaction special. There's an hour.
That's quite funny though.
Of Switch 2 chat. Fucking, we're gonna get so many people complaining.
Hour and 45 minutes of it.
Oh, John Lewis pre-orders went up. Shit.
Oh yeah.
They were one of the ones that I thought, I'll be alright.
I was going to say, they were always a dark horse back in the Wii days, weren't they? It was like, whenever John Lewis pre-orders went, I was like, we'll have them. Like,
oh, they have, yeah, they're all up.
Goddamn. Don't get that discount anymore, though. Never mind.
Switch 2 AC adapter. Why would you buy it? Hold on.
Sold separately.
Special offer. Pre-orders are now sold out. Shit. That was gonna be my go-to one. Yeah. Fuck.
It's so funny. I was saying to people on WhatsApp at the time, like, when someone mentioned Argos pre-orders going up, and straight away I was like, yeah, because when the Wii came out, like they really sorted me out my housemate out on release day, as if nothing has changed since the fucking Wii came out. And
yeah, but in fairness, remember what they did for my PS5?
Oh no, go on.
That was insane.
Yeah.
I bought the PS5, didn't I? And I was like buzzing, and I got home that day. They delivered it. I was out. I got home, opened the package. It was the digital version, so it was the wrong version.
Oh yeah, shit.
So I rang them up and said, "What the fuck?" And they said, "Yeah, we're really sorry. That means you're gonna have to return it. They're all sold out. So
yes,
your money will be returned within 10 working days." I was like, "So I'm £450 down, and I've got no PlayStation."
Yeah.
And they went, "Look, I'll see what I can do." And then an hour later, they went, "Someone will knock at your door at like 8 o'clock tonight." And I was like, "No, they won't." And they did. They and swapped it for the real. And I was like, wow, that is fucking respect. I don't know how to keep track of this. I can't keep track of this. I can't spend my days checking when these pre-orders are going up.
Yeah.
So I've got no way of keeping track of this. It's really frustrating. But what can you do?
That's the I sort of said to myself, right, I'm going to allow myself to be a little bit stressed about it now and just get a pre-order in soon as, and then refuse to think about it, rather than getting into the constant sea of like, oh no, this shop's got pre-orders, now this one, and just I don't think stock will be that limited, but we'll see.
No, I mean, there's been rumours that they've been shipped about the world a lot, like from January. So yeah, I think there might be. I don't know what's going to happen. I really appreciate you getting us the pre-order, James. I still don't understand what Amazon's thing about saying the 7th is though. But
it's odd. Isn't
everyone I've spoken to has said the same thing, so it will change, I think. But weird.
I should have threatened to cancel your pre-order.
What for? What though? Don't make me force me give my. Don't force me to give my Switch 2 to my son. Otherwise, I'll cancel your pre-order.
Like, fuck you, David. Fuck you. It's just
really spiteful. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Shall we continue?
Yeah. Let's get to listeners' messages. Way too late. But here we are.
Goodness.
Let's do it.
If you want to send us a question,
I mean, I'm in for the long haul. If we want to, we want to do this,
I'm all right.
let's do this.
See how we go. So I've mixed in.
James just sat back and sighed.
I've mixed up all like feedback and questions and stuff. It's all just in one big mass. But yeah, if you want to send us anything of that nature, go to tcgs.co/. Dear TCGS, we're going to start with Ryan Cobain. Says, Dear TCGS Co, feedback for the Leds. What a podcast, what a group of hosts and guests cultivated over the years. What a community, well done for the live shows as well. I was late to the party, but better late than never, and although a Game of the Year shows your first is bonkers, but magical. Cheers, gents, here's to another 9 years, and then you can let let the 18-year-old podcast off the chain and drink as much as Dr. Boomstick. All the best, Ryan Cobain.
Thanks
very
Ryan.
much, mate.
Yeah, thanks. That's really nice.
I don't want to think of this lasting another 9 years, though.
Go on. We might as fucking well now. We've got the momentum. There's no stopping this train now.
I was going to make a joke. I won't. Permission to make a joke?
Yeah, go on.
Go on.
But is the show going to be as good without James about in 9 years' time? Okay, that was the joke, and I know that was out of order, so you can't have a go at me about that.
It's just a joke. You can't have a go at anyone if it's just a joke.
Elements of truth
there. Josh has written in. This is a lot of messages of people being nice, but it's our fucking birthday, so I'm doing it. Just wanted to drop you guys a message to say thank you. I've had what could be described as a pretty shitty 6 months, being made redundant as part of the closure of the Vauxhall factory in Luton, to finding out I have inflammatory bowel disease only a few days ago after months of unpleasant tests involving cameras, fingers and my bumhole. Your podcast has been a constant through this turbulent and often emotionally draining time in my life. Every Wednesday provides a little bit of respite and brings me a bit of joy. Hearing you bicker is honestly quite the mood lift. Thankfully, things are looking up for me with a new job on the horizon and a plan in place to deal with my newfound affliction. Just wanted to acknowledge that the part you played in keeping me sane through all of this. So thank you to David, Matt, Sean and James, whenever it can be bothered to turn up. Josh.
Thanks, Josh. And we get messages like this, and I do wonder, Josh, do let us know. Is there a time when you're going through all that and you turn to us in your time of need and go, these guys are getting me through a really tough time now, so I'm going to listen to some TCGS, and then go, they talk about fucking Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 again. Fucking hell.
It would have been again this week as well. It's all I played. It's
There must be. I know, it's really sweet. We really appreciate messages like this always, but you can't like everything that much. There must be a moment where they go, but can David tone down the swearing? Like at the end.
But I think once you've listened to a podcast for so long, you take everything in good faith to an extent, right?
Yeah.
I talk about Ellis and John a lot. I listen to them every week. There's stuff I could moan about most weeks, but I don't, and I would certainly never write into them to complain about, because it's like,
some people do.
Well, some people do, absolutely.
I've never written into a podcast to say I don't like this. I've never got my head around that.
No, it's bizarre.
Many people do, but thanks, Josh. Pretty good to hear that you're on the mend.
Yeah, because without going into too much detail, I'm aware, not me personally, but how fucking miserable stomach stuff can be. So Jack says, "Grats on the 9 years. Been here since the start and will be here till the end. Have a little thought. Have a little thought I had when James revealed he'd outsourced podcast name ideas to AI. I hate AI as much as anyone, but have you ever thought about training it using James's audio and seeing if it can do a convincing impression of him when he's on holiday number 5 of the year?"
Have you done the iPhone one, James?
No, I've not tried that.
Or is this a thing?
It's like I don't. You see what you think.
Is this the voice? Like it does your voice thing.
It does your. It's clearly an AI voice. It's not. It's like a text to speech voice, but it uses. Maybe it hasn't transferred over to my. No, how do you activate it again? I thought it was a. Oh no, here we go. Right, so, and welcome to the computer game show. James is a bellend. Right, ready? So this is what it sounds like.
Hello and welcome to the computer game show. James is a bellend.
It does. That sounds pretty good. It's
no,
similar.
they've got rid of. See, I've just transferred to a new phone, so it hasn't used my voice. It hasn't transferred my voice over to my new phone. Mm-hmm. What an anticlimax to that whole section of the show. That did sound like Spoiler Bot. Phil Wall says it sounds like Spoiler Bot. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
The next message comes from Zoe Greaseproof Paper. Just a quick one to say thank you. I'm a listener since episode 1 and I've loved the show the whole time. It continues to go from strength to strength and it's always a highlight of my week. I transitioned last year, and while the world becomes an increasingly scary place, it's comforting to know that shows like yours exist. There are lots of public figures, companies, etc. that are distancing themselves from being trans-inclusive for fear of pushback due to the rise of the far right across the globe. Hearing trans rights are human rights at the beginning of every show, even if it is just because it's part of a full Nels name, instantly
even it is because you're paid to say it, kind of takes the edge off that statement, doesn't it?
Instantly sets the tone, and even more than that, your general attitude, politics, no politics please, an inclusive atmosphere you've created means so much to me and many other listeners, I'm sure, apart from James, who is an obvious Tory, of course. Happy birthday.
You have no idea how much that burns, because it really does, because that's really
I know.
Honestly really upsetting. But yeah.
Here's hoping for many more years to come. Love to you all, Zoe.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, I hope, obviously, it is a bit of a cop-out that it is just a full Nels name, but hopefully people know that we wouldn't say it if we didn't believe it or mean it.
For sure. And obviously this is a subject that's come up recently where we've had a few people, sending messages in and also posting sort of what they call it, review bombing us because they don't agree with our political opinions. I don't care. I just don't give a fuck anymore. I just 100%. Don't care. I think maybe there was I don't even know if there was a time where I was thinking, let's not get into politics. I don't think we've ever really cared. But even now, we've got enough listeners. I don't want to appeal to a wider audience. I don't want we've got enough listeners. We've got enough support on Patreon. If you don't like the political views that we talk about on the show, then fuck off and listen to someone else. There's plenty of shit out there that you can listen to. I'm just at that point now. Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad that some people.
I'm just thinking Matt's listening to this and he's just like, don't stop, please stop.
I don't give Matt, this is my house and it's now not for sale. All right.
So what do you mean we don't want to grow?
I mean, you want to grow, you want to grow your audience. Like it'd be nice if more people listen to the show and stuff. But I'm not desperate for it, and I'm certainly not to the point where I'm like, hey, no, actually, I'm going to consider. I don't. We've always just tried to be us on this thing. I think. I mean, there's always been we're playing characters to some extent, but when it comes to that stuff, no, we try and we don't always get it right. We don't always get things right, and I like to think that our listeners know that when we don't get things right, we can reflect on what we say and realise where we've gone wrong and try and understand it if we've misunderstood it or reassess where our own faults are politically if we later go back and some of the stuff that I said around the redundancies when the industry started really going downhill, I sort of think back on now and go, actually sort of my view on that has changed quite a bit even in the past year or so. And I think you should be allowed to do that. But I mean, we've always been open about that shit.
I think it's really
someone's
important.
put questioning Nate the hate. Yes, Pubis, questioning Nate the hate. All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
Sorry, James, you were in him.
No, I was going to say I do think it is important as well that we highlight a lot of stuff in news and as much as we can and talk about these things. I mean, just some horrible thing I just read. There was that whole thing with there was that protest at the Microsoft's 50th anniversary thing, and they just fired the person who did that. Who they've just fired her, which is
shit.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, continue.
That's all right. I will. Thank you.
Get on with it, Sean.
Caddy says this is feedback to Angry Baboon's feedback. We're going to regret this. We're going to Angry Baboon. If you write in next week, I'm not reading it out. This is gone.
What was this? I don't remember this. Go on.
Feedback to Angry Baboon's feedback. The only reason you've repeated the podcast so many times is because every time you get a new phone, every 5 minutes, you forget where you got to, so you have to start again. But yes, I will look after Monty for you.
Right, okay.
I'm very sorry for not being a proper fan, David. I'll make more of an effort from now on, and I hope you can forgive me. Good show this week, guys, and happy birthday, Sean, from last week. Thank you,
I can, Caddy. I can forgive you. And I'm glad you're looking after that mutt.
Niall says, how would you describe James's ideal video game? Brackets, James cannot answer.
Ironically, loads of explosions.
Yep.
You don't die in it. You don't get killed in it. Like RoboCop, without any death. Just loads of explosions. Really bad, but also rather cartoony violence.
I was going to say he likes anime women as well.
Yes, that is true.
And,
actually.
James is a good guy, right? I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just saying he's got a weakness. Right?
If you were to put some bait of fishing for James, there's one route you could go down.
Put some saucy manga on the end of a hook.
Soldier of Fortune is what I'm thinking. Soldier of Fortune would be James's thing. How close are we, James?
You're not close at all, but I'm quite close to cancelling your pre-order for the Switch 2.
You can't. You know what? Cancel it because I don't want that. Actually, cancel it because I don't want you holding that over me. I'm gonna act like I don't care. Fuck it. Cancel it. Go on.
All right.
You ain't gonna blackmail me.
James says, "Time flies."
No, James. What is your ideal game?
Go.
What is your ideal game?
Oh, are we letting him answer? Okay.
I don't know. Anything that has good narrative, good story. Yeah.
Such a
whatever.
wishy-washy answer.
Yeah. I don't
Shit
know.
answer.
There's loads.
Any game that's sort of good.
Yeah.
Really intellectual stuff, you know. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Duke
Geen
Nukem.
says, "Did you just headbutt your microphone?"
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. Sorry, Geen. It says, time flies too fast. Doesn't feel like 9 years of TCGS, but I also remember hearing about the Nintendo NX from our favourite news goblin. Thank you for making TCGS one of my weekly highlights for nearly a decade, and more importantly, thanks for letting me be natural. Nice.
Whoa,
Thank
that's
you.
not it. That's not it.
one
That's
of them.
not the right
It's
one.
one of them.
You've embarrassed
For
yourself.
about a year, that was it.
It was the good
Not
one.
saying it was better or worse, but that was.
I mean, Sean, I am. It's.
Thanks for letting me be natural. Where did that come from, though?
I just came up with it.
Because do you remember the story about thanks for living it?
No, I don't. In fact, someone asked us about this, but go on.
I what in this?
Yeah, in this.
here?
Yeah. There's a
Oh,
question
well,
about
I'll respond to
Okay,
it when we
so-
get to that. Then, yeah. Okay.
Dean Chillmaid. Chillmaid is such a good surname. I fucking
That is a
every
good
time
name.
he writes it, I fucking
Yeah.
love it. Hey, gang, congratulations on 9 years. I remember the first time I heard David podcasting was on an episode of the Hotspot UK with Michael Fox. And that must have been something like 15 to 20 years ago, and I've been a fan ever since.
Is that the
TCGS and its
GameSpot podcast?
It
Is
is,
that what
yeah.
it was?
Well, it was, yeah. It was GameSpot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
TCGS and its predecessors have been the only podcast that has stuck around for me and has accompanied me for almost half of my entire life, which is mad. So much has happened both in the world and personally since then, but having the podcast to listen to every week is a genuine highlight. So thank you, David, James, Matt and Sean, for your dedication and persistence in still turning up every week. Little question to end on. From all of your podcasting history, what is one thing you're really proud of and one thing you wish you had done differently? Thanks again, Dean.
Good question.
That's a really good question. I would definitely think of like jokes I wish were not recorded and available on the internet. Pre TCGS mostly, I think.
I probably wouldn't have apologised. That would have been done differently.
Hang on, if you can choose to do something differently, so you're saying you wouldn't have apologised, would you not have undone the thing that you needed to apologise for?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
I only really apologised because Matt got upset with me. That's the truth. Things that I'm proud of. There are several things that I'm proud of. Like, I'm always proud that we did that talks over with Ian Lee for Fun Candy.
Yeah.
That was something that I look back on and just go. I mean, I said to you soon after we did it, we will always have that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of TCGS Con. I thought that was something special. Like those two events were something special there. You know, the fact that we're. I don't know. It was just that weekend was so good, and the people that helped us out.
I think,
John,
sort of, saying before about not wanting any more listeners or not wanting any more. Do you know what I mean? Like it's amazing to me that this has grown as much as it has, and yet we can arrange a live event, and I'm not worried about who's going to turn up.
No, I'm not worried about who's going to turn up, and we were confident it was going to be like having Laser Quest followed by the Meltdown Bar stuff was just so fucking good.
Yeah, it was
great.
great.
Perfect.
And then having Laser Quest followed by what was in the Cuisining. It just honestly, and then knowing that the party wasn't ending there, and that the rest of the night was just a bunch of people just hanging out, and it was fantastic. Like that stuff I was really proud of. There's loads of stuff. Getting to speak to so many cool people in the industry as well, and having them guests on our show has been really cool. Meeting new people.
I'm really proud of our Game of the Year shows. I think they've been good. I've always enjoyed doing those. Although
I always love it when people say this is the best Game of the Year show, because there's so many of them. And what I love is that recently a lot of people are saying it's the traitors. It's the traitors, and I'm like, oh my god, you get it. Like that is exactly what we're trying to do with the Game of the Year show. I love it. But then also our old E3 shows. Everyone used to go, the only E3 coverage that you need is TCGS, and that is like fucking brilliant for me. I love that. Yeah, there's a lot to be proud of. I'm also really proud of the charity streams we've done in the past.
Yeah, we need to get on that again.
We do,
because that was so much fun.
It was, yeah, really good. I think because I know this is something that came up recently. Again, I'm going to mention Ellis and John one more time, and that'll be it. Been listening back to their old stuff, and I finally reached lockdown. So I've reached their sort of COVID episodes, and it just reminded me of how many people told us that the podcasts and streams and stuff we did were like a proper lifeline for them. And I know we've said it was same for us. We really totally
needed it at the time as well.
Even more so during that period than anyone else, you know.
And obviously so many things were shit about lockdown, but the fact that I can look back and be I was streaming during the day, doing lunchtime streams and stuff, and that was so much fun. And
there was a whole courtroom scene with James Farley.
Yeah, it was great.
So
that was so good. That was good, James, because you had no idea what was going on, and then come on, that was good. That was good. And then we were in Phoenix, right?
Phoenix, right?
Yeah. I need to get back on. I think that's one thing I would like to improve is just having the sort of space and time to think of stuff like that again. Because it feels
that's why we got you your present for your 40th, because we were thinking.
Oh my god! Yeah, sorry,
you would take advantage of that more than anyone else we know.
Yeah, sorry, I've not said on the show. Thank you so much. The guys got me a Stream Deck Neo. I think that's the one it's called. I've still not had a proper go on it yet. Not had a chance. But yeah, it's sat in front of me now. It's fucking great. I'm really looking forward to having a play with it.
It was one of those things where we were like, Sean would never buy this for himself, but I can't imagine the shit you're going to be able to do with that. Just flicking through scenes and stuff is going to be like a piece of piss now.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it. Conky Donker says, what is your favourite gaming dad memory? Love you, lads. Cheers for all the pods.
Oh, God. What, like me as a dad playing with my kids?
Yeah, I think that's what they mean, yeah.
I think...
Okay, go on. You go, James.
I was going to say the first time that Asher beat me at Mario Kart, and where I was I can't believe how good you are at this now, and it was just that was really cool actually. Where I was just I can really try when I'm playing against you, and often lose as well, and I'm this is really cool, that you got to this.
For me, Mario Kart, the first time Harry finished first in Mario Kart without me helping, was he was really young, but it was still amazing. Charlie finishing Astro Bot was really good, but also me and Charlie playing through the whole of It Takes Two, getting to the end of that together was a really cool moment. Although he was kind of it's done, wicked. And off he went, and I was like, no, I'm having a moment here, please.
What about me?
What
I think-
about me?
Isaac finishing Mario Wonder was amazing. Like I helped him with bits of it, but most of the run up towards the end and like the final boss he did himself. That was really cool. He did his first hunt on Monster Hunter like yesterday. That was really cool to watch. Although he's picked like the most complicated weapon in the game, and I was like trying to explain that to him, and he's like, "Yeah, cool, good." And I'm like, "No, it's." Here's a tutorial for it. It's half an hour long. But anyway, I think finishing Cat Quest 2 and 3 with him was that was such a highlight. Like that was really good fun.
That shit's great.
Yeah,
That shit's great. And then also Minecraft. Don't underplay that either. Like when
definitely.
you see what
yes,
these
just
kids are doing
just
in
going away and then
Minecraft,
coming
you're
back
like,
and they've built
"What?"
stuff. It's just
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
Eskil Vendel says, "Good evening and bonsoir to you all. This week I had my email read out on Kermode and Mayo's show for the first time in 15 years, and I was very happy. Have you ever had your letter read out on the radio or something like that and been very happy? Being on Ian Lee's podcast doesn't count."
It does count a bit. Like beforehand, when we weren't friends with him, or we didn't really know him that well. Yeah, I used to ring up pretending I was Taylor Hanson from the Hanson. Oh, it's Taylor Hanson from the Hansons. We did the one about the Umbop. Remember the one about the Umbop, Ian? That is what I used to do on Ian's show quite regularly. There was. I remember that. I remember not knowing whether to put on the voice when I spoke to the producer before I was put on it or not. Yeah, it's the guy that does the Taylor Hanson impressions. Oh, hello, Ian. How are you? There was, we've had. Well, should we talk about this now? 9 years in, we could talk about. Should we talk about Steve Charlton?
Oh, yeah, Steve
It
Charlton.
was years ago.
Yeah, I think it was probably safe.
It was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's during
Okay.
peak COVID, wasn't it?
We should ask Matt, but he's not here, and I don't want to bother him with it. So let's just do it. So when we first started doing Patreon bonus shows, there was a regular feature where we would be Steve Charlton, a character that we created that would write messages into other podcasts, and a few of them got read out. We had one read out on Lockdown Parenting Hell, where Steve Charlton wanted to be he wanted to make a Nando's dinner for his children.
An authentic Nando's dinner.
Yeah.
So he brought the George Foreman grill into the front room, and he played Portuguese music over the speakers and stuff on his computer. But everything went wrong. Like the YouTube Portuguese music, the adverts kept popping up. He misjudged the spice level.
Premium or
And also, wasn't it his daughter? Like, he wanted to offer the full menu. Like, he gave
printed off the full
right,
menu.
Yeah, but he didn't have the ingredients. Like,
And then
for
it
his
turned out,
he
didn't he?
didn't
Like,
have
he only had
ingredients
the
for everything.
hottest spice as well. He didn't.
Yeah.
He wanted lemon and herb.
Yeah, so they wouldn't speak to him after that.
Yeah.
We also had another one where read out on Football Ramble.
That was
where
my
Steve
favourite.
Charlton wanted to play football in his garden, but the only football he had was like a signed football from a.
It was
It's
because
covered in
team.
cling film.
Yeah,
to
'cause
keep it safe.
he supported Southampton, even though he was called
Yeah.
Steve Charlton. And he was recreating Matt Letizier's goal, and then kicked it over the fence. Then he was having a boundary dispute with
That's
his
right.
neighbour.
You didn't feel comfortable asking the neighbour for the ball back because there was an ongoing boundary dispute.
But then we had a few. We sent one into Gossip Mongers that didn't get read out.
I think, but then they were just getting bombarded by that point, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
I also a few months afterwards I sent one into XFM, if you remember, where it was like DIY mishaps.
Oh, I do
We're gonna
remember that, yeah.
DIY mishaps.
Yeah.
And we got one from Steve Charlton here. It doesn't really explain himself, but it says, "I once stapled my son to the sideboard."
Yeah,
To the skirting board.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you're a patron, subscriber, then even on the tier where you get the bonus show, you can go back and listen to those. We had a lot of fun with it. And then one person went, "This is getting boring now," so we just stopped doing it.
See, also, I think
self-conscious.
The trouble was with Steve Charlton as well is I think he probably would have gone on a political trajectory that we wouldn't have been comfortable with.
Yeah. It would have ended up being a bit of an Alan Partridge sort of thing. Yeah.
But
I think also there was always the danger of it like drifting into just like, haha, we got you to read that out, which was never the intention.
And we didn't want it.
Like,
that wasn't the point.
Yeah,
no.
we just wanted to
We
write
just wanted to make people laugh, really, with funny stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Electrolux Juice Extractor says, Edge gave Civ 7 a 9 out of 10. Is it time to bin it?
Yeah, I don't think it's very good.
Yeah.
I
think you mean Edge magazine, not the game.
Yes.
I mean, yes to both, but yeah.
Do you still subscribe?
Not read it for a bit.
No, I don't subscribe.
But,
you unsubscribed? How long ago? A couple of years?
Years ago, yeah. I've
really?
been subscribed for ages, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Big step
Just
from
Shields.
James Farley.
So it's just a quick one to say you're all great people. I love you, and to ask you, what do you think is the best train company in the UK?
Thameslink.
Soon to be the government.
What are the train companies?
What are the train companies?
I miss, and I'm not. This is no comment on them as a train company, but I miss when the platform staff for Virgin Trains had those massive red coats. I thought that was a great little.
It was a good look.
Yeah. I thought that was fantastic.
My favourite train story relates to a football match that Millwall had with Manchester United.
Yeah.
It was the FA Cup final. Somehow, little old Millwall got to the FA Cup final. The guy that marked Cristiano Ronaldo that day is a bloke called Robbie Ryan, right? Who now works for the London Underground. He does cabling for the London Underground or whatever. I just imagine someone going, "Hello, mate. Yeah, I've just started at the London Underground. Yeah, who are you? Robbie Ryan. I once marked Cristiano Ronaldo in an FA Cup final. Sure you did, mate. Are they all like this down
here?" Simmer the kettle's boiling. Says, hey TCGS, congratulations, long-time listener, rare emailer. Well done on getting to 9 years of the pod, lads. Your pod has made many, many shifts at work a lot easier to get through. I love how you all take the piss out of each other and wind each other up. It adds a comedic flavour to your views on the hobby we all love. I've always wondered what the origin of the baby thing you all do. You all, but mostly Dave do. Like, we're number one, baby, etc. It always makes me laugh. Keep up the great work, Simmer.
It's The Office, isn't it? It all stems from too long, baby.
Yeah, too long, baby.
Yeah. When he walks into David Brent walks into the office and he's got an earring, and Dawn goes, "Oh, you got your earpiece? How long have you had that?" And he goes, "Too long, baby." And he goes, "Oh, but it's bleeding." Yeah, it's really open.
It really hurts.
There you go. There's the origin of that.
Yeah. Maria Mendieta says, Dear TCGS, congratulations. I am the David type of gamer, the kind that defiantly admits I love gaming, quote, and what are you going to do about it? Yet I've often wondered about those on the other side of this hobby. What is one thing you would agree does not make sense about video games to an outsider? Keep up the terrific work for many more years to come. Sincerely, Maria. And shout out to Maria, by the way, who... I can't remember when
contributor.
Yeah, I can't remember when she started asking questions. I don't think it was like day one, but the sheer consistency of them in terms of like regularity and quality is unbelievable.
True.
So what doesn't make sense about video games?
To outsiders.
To an outsider, I think partly is the themes. Like I'm saying to the people at work that I'm playing a medieval RPG. Is like they're just, what are you doing? I think there's that whole thing about should games be called games, right? And I think it was the old argument that people had back in the 1-up games. Well, you know, because you're playing the games and it sounds childish when you're doing it. I don't really care, but I think that's it. People just see it as a childish activity. That's what they think. You know, they don't understand how cool they are. They don't get how cool they are.
It's definitely. I think I've mentioned this before. Like when I was playing Metaphor Refantasio, and like a lot of the dialogue and the voice acting is not great, or certainly not like TV standard, right? So if Nu's in the room and she's like hearing it, she's like, "This is shit. Like, why are you playing this?" Right?
Yeah, Chen said something similar about Lost Records. But
Whereas, like,
Chen was right.
I accept that it is a game, and there are budget constraints. The thing's 120 hours long. Of course, it's not like I can just get into a sort of headspace where I'm like, this is the level of dialogue I can just accept it and take it at face value and not really think like, oh well, this could be better actually. Whereas she is used to telly and films and is like, this is really bad. Do you know what I mean? So like, as a gamer, capital G gamer, I can just sort of reframe my expectations, whereas a normal person would not.
Well, that's a very good point, actually, because speaking of Kingdom Come, you look at that and you go, why do you love this game so much? And I'm like, I love the characters, I love the story, I love the world that is created and how that... And then Joe looks over and I've spent 10 minutes with a hammer trying to make a horseshoe. And it's like, well, the pacing's not there for people that aren't used to video games. Yeah. It's like, you're saying how exciting this stuff is, but really, what are you doing?
I'll tell you what, Chen was really not happy with me doing that because I was playing it on Portal in bed, right? And every time that you hit the hammer, it's like vibrating. And she was like, "Can you stop doing that? I'm trying to sleep." And it's like I'm making horseshoes, like at the moment.
Trying to earn a living here.
Yeah, that's what it is for sure.
The next message comes from it's a cheeky one. This comes from Sook Mike Hawk.
Say that a little bit quicker,
no,
because it is one word.
Happy birthday all, long time first timer here. As it's TCGS's birthday, I thought I'd go back and listen to some past episodes while travelling. Highlights I wish to share: the infamous E3 2017 show, James changing his daughter's birthday to suit him, the Billboard chart-topping banger of the Mince Pie song performed by JC Farley, Matt's Microsoft rewards addiction that resulted in him obtaining his very own low-profile keyboard that he wouldn't stop banging on about, and the endless times James loses it and tells someone to fuck off. My question is, what are the origins of the David's "Thanks for living it" sign-off at the end of every episode? Here's to another 9 years of celebrating the show's birthday, not on the actual day.
Well, this is actually the most frustrating thing ever, because the origins of it was from a podcast that we lost. I think it was like episode 2 or 3. It was really early on.
Yeah.
We did the whole podcast, and right at the end, I was supposed to say, "Thanks for listening," but I said, "Thanks for living it," like that, right? And I fucked it up, and we all laughed for about 10 minutes. And I said, that should be our catchphrase now, "Thanks for living it." And then we lost that episode. It never went out. And the next week I went, right, listen, this is going to be my catchphrase, but here's what happened last week. You can't hear how good it was because we lost the recording. But I was supposed to say "thanks for listening," and I accidentally said "thanks for living it," and that's the origin story for that one.
Do you reckon Matt still uses that low-profile keyboard?
Oh, 100%. It's a nice keyboard.
No way. No.
Yeah, he does. Doesn't he? Send us a
maybe.
picture of his rig, of his
You
setup.
don't reckon he's got a new setup?
He's got a new setup, yeah. Yeah.
That keyboard's about
If Matt was a little bit older, he definitely would have been one of those guys that had the mouse that doesn't move, that you move the ball with the thumb.
Oh, trackball.
He would have been one of those guys. 100%.
I reckon my days until I go vertical mouse are probably numbered. It's got to be done. It's good for
You
your
reckon?
wrist. Yeah.
Once you've got an idea in your head, you just go with it, though, don't you? Remember the low profile, the phone that you got. It's great. It hasn't got Anything on it?
Anything on it? Still in a drawer if anyone wants it. Tom, cupboard full of matches and batteries, says, I've just finished Split Fiction with my 8-year-old and we had an amazing time. Before you turned me over to the boys in blue, we observed the standard rules of engagement. He pretended not to hear any of the earthier words that our ancestors might have used, mostly Shilton's in this case, and I found a range of baroque ways of avoiding referring to any of the guns as guns. But I was concerned when Dave mentioned that there was a difficult moment later on that a kid might have trouble with, so I did some Googling to try and find out what it might be. All the search results I found seemed to think that the most harrowing moment in the game was either 1, a bit early on that I thought was touch and go but he thought was brilliant, and 2, a boss battle about 2/3 in that we both thought was pretty innocuous. Nobody mentioned the bit that I now think must have been what Dave was referring to, which was a lot heavier and which did prompt a rather more of a conversation. Do any of you try and pre-screen games before letting your kids play them? If so, do you have any strategies for doing it without going insane from the mental load?
No, pre-screening is one thing. I think had Split Fiction been a rated lower, in terms of certificate or whatever, then I wouldn't have screened it. He would have been fine. I think he's fine with most things. Every kid's different, obviously, So if Charlie hasn't got any problem with like peril or anything like that, and I know that even like mild peril in quite tame video games can affect certain kids or whatever. But I know Charlie well enough to know that it'd be fine with all that stuff. It's just this is slightly more like we don't care about swearing. I'll be honest with you. Like we try not to swear in front of the kids, and on the main part we don't, and we don't want to hear our kids swear at all. Like, don't like that. But like in media, we don't care if we're watching something and someone swears in it. Like music, when we're listening to music. In fact, actually, it's a game in our car. So when I'm listening to music with swearing in, the kids go woo whenever a swear word comes up because they know the song that well that they time it perfectly, so they don't get to hear it. And then during Split Fiction, there's a couple of shits in it, and Charlie just goes, "Oh, naughty word." So that's fine. But yeah, the scene that you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to skip that because it is pretty shitty for him to watch that, I think. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Just be careful, I guess. But I had no choice. I have to play this game with Charlie because we loved It Takes Two so much. That he was just obsessed with playing it, and I think that's why I wanted to play through the game first, so that I know when I can skip and do avoid bits or whatever.
There was, I promise this will be relevant. On the Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast, they were talking relatively early on. Someone asked them, I think Seth asked them, like, how now that you've been doing this so many years, how do you feel about your kids watching your old sketches, right? I think they all have kids that are sort of similar ages to ours, I think. And they were saying like it's weird because it's not the swearing and stuff. It's when you think that like it's funny to have a jump cut to a scene from The Exorcist or something, right? And you think that's part of a gag, and then you realize that, oh no, that's the sort of thing kids can't handle more than anything you would sort of consider like, oh well, someone says shit in this or whatever. Stuff like that really, like jump scares and stuff, really fuck them up. And like Isaac was a few months ago, he got into Donut County, which I was like, yeah, of course you can play Donut County, like why not? Completely forgetting there's like a ghost house level where there's like certain things you activate whatever, and there's like a moment, and I can't even remember what a P is now. But yeah, completely fucked him up. He didn't want to play it. I was like, oh really? I completely forgot that was a bit in this. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, stuff catches you out, and of course, no ratings board is going to be like, oh, it's got a spooky ghost house bit, better make it a 12. Like, it is pretty innocuous, but young kids get really messed up by that stuff sometimes. And that's
it's tough. It's tough. You just got to. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and you can't protect them from everything as well. Like, there's part of that as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Ben/Sai.
Ooh.
Big fan. He says, apologies, this is a multi-part question. 9 years is a long time. There's been an absolute ton of highlights with fun and innovative segments. But has there been A, segments or ideas that you really wanted to do but never came to fruition? B,
Loads.
segments or ideas that you did do but didn't work out how you'd like? C, segments or ideas that you did do and they worked out as much bigger than you expected? And D, going forwards, what's the next big idea? What's on the horizon that TCGS would love to try?
Oh shit, this is really tough one to answer, isn't
That
it?
is quite.
I'm thinking about bringing back Farley's Game Club.
Oh yeah.
I think, yeah.
Well, you can think about it as much as you want. We ain't doing it. We didn't do it back then when we did it on Joypod. That was fucking so annoying. That was. It was so annoying. Farley's Game Club. What are we going to play this week so we can all talk about next week? We're going to play this game, David. A week later, I was the only one that played it. And I just thought, what am I doing here? What is the fucking point in this? It was infuriating.
It was
Segments of ideas that you really wanted to do but never came to fruition. There's got to be loads. There's stuff
we've
that
never really.
I really wanted to do daily calls with James, where we had to have a 10-minute phone call
I remember
every
this
single
one.
day.
Yeah.
And that goes out as a podcast every day for a year.
That's still not a bad idea, but
it isn't.
Just...
But we're not doing it.
No, because it'll be.
I'm less time than ever at the moment. I'm so busy at the moment that it's just not going to be possible.
I remember liking the idea of when I found out that with Google Assistant or Alexa or whatever, you can set a podcast as your alarm as part of your morning routine. And I love the idea of if this was our actual job, every night we would record a 10-minute gaming news thing that's a bit funny and has some personality and stuff, and everyone can people just wake up to that the next morning. I think that would be sick. But
the narrowboat idea, where we were going to film everything we do on a narrowboat for a bit.
I don't remember that.
I do remember that. We were going to.
We joked that it would end up. We would
and then it would end at TCGS.
End at a TCGS
so
when we arrive, and people have been following us on the stream for a week, and then we arrive on the boat waving, and we start the theme tune plays as we come in.
We should still do that.
Segment or ideas that you did do but didn't work out how you'd like?
Probably
Le Tournoir, James.
That was amazing.
That was
when you got all the
we should
point
redo
system,
that.
we
Genuinely,
had to sort
we
your
should.
points out for you because the point system didn't work.
But it all came together in the end, and then Sean won a cup.
I did.
It was very good. It was
a very
good.
cool cup. When we first started doing the show on Twitch every week, and I wanted it to be as good a video show as a
that's
podcast.
right.
And we demonstrated that we could do it.
Yes,
but
100%.
It was just too annoying each week, trying to get the footage. In my head, I was well, we're playing the games anyway. What does it hurt? Just making sure we hit the share button and save a clip. But it was too annoying, and I was really proud of what we did with it. But ultimately, it's not how the vast majority of the audience views the show or listens to the show anyway. So nice to sort of prove that we could do it, but it wasn't a long term.
We just we didn't have the time to do it. Yeah. If we had more time, we would probably still be doing that stuff.
Totally.
It's a shame that we can't. But so Naylor Ben said, please bring back Farley's interest in discussions about share prices. Do you remember that segment?
I mean
with the minute and a half theme tune that Sean produced.
That could definitely come back in the next couple of weeks because their share prices go all over the place.
Yeah.
Segments or ideas that you did do and they worked out much bigger than you expected. I don't think anything fits that bracket.
No.
I'll try to think.
Certainly, we've been surprised by how people latch on to certain gags or bits or whatever. But I don't know.
Next big idea, that is definitely going to be that sponsoring a football team thing.
Yeah, man.
We've got to do that, sponsor a football match or a match day football or whatever.
100%.
We've got to do that in the new season for sure. It'd just be so much fun. Just getting people down there to watch a game of football and then going out afterwards. It'd just be. I love that idea. I really love that idea.
I should do it.
Oh, people are saying bring back Bell's Kitchen.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
That was good. I sort of, because obviously I used to do the quizzes, and sometimes I've thought, would it be fun to do really short ones, in other episodes, or little sort of game related, games, or I don't know. But I think that would...
We are due in the quiz inning again, though, for sure.
Yeah, we are. I should probably sort that out. Still got the
They were fucking good.
I remember
they were good.
when Lindy, shout out to Lindy, friend of the show. She organised the meetup. It was in Bristol. I think it was in Bristol. And yeah, she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do a quiz. Like, can you send me the link to the jacket?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Here you go." And it's like, "Oh, it's like £45. I thought it was. Thought it was like a tenner." And rightly so. It's dog shit. Sarah Dyer says, "Happy birthday, lads. I was going to be sarky here, but honestly, 9 years is a hell of an achievement and you should be fucking proud of yourselves. In a hobby which is increasingly toxic, your support for game workers and marginalised communities, as well as your openness and honesty on difficult topics like parenthood, should be applauded. There's a very good reason why so many people write in to say you've helped them through bad times. You're doing more than I think you all realise at times. Anyway, here's to 9 more years. Oh, wait, do I actually need to specifically ask the question here? You can bring back one game franchise from the dead, but in order to do so, you need to sacrifice one in return. Who's getting revived and what's getting banished to never see another entry ever again?"
Time Splitter's back. Get rid of Metroid.
Metroid?
What the...
You can get rid of anything. Why would you get rid of Metroid?
I just want to be vicious. Okay. I just want to be vicious with
Fell
it.
straight for that hook, line and sinker. Like, that was just like...
Bring back Legacy of Kain. Banish... Oh, I'll say it. Assassin's Creed.
I'm surprised we haven't had as much shit as I thought we would about not talk. We've literally not mentioned.
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
we've
I'm
skipped
surprised.
Assassin's Creed. It's meant to be good.
If I really wanted to piss off James, it'd be bring back Titanfall, get rid of Animal Crossing. His little face when he finds out that that's the click of the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Like,
Gone. Forever.
do you know Charlie calls it as the goblet? I've got Thanos' goblet. It's not called the goblet, mate. James, gone.
Bring back... Go on. Oh, this is an obvious one. Bring back Shenmue. Because that's
Not, hasn't gone away, mate.
They
That's
did
still,
do
that's
that.
still trucking.
Yeah, I know. But
They did bring it back, and it was awful.
What would I get rid of? I need to think about this. I should have thought about this in the last few minutes while you were talking, but I
here we
didn't. So what can I go for? I'm completely blanking. See, Sean's already taken Assassin's Creed, so that's not.
Just say Final Fantasy or something. That'll annoy you.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I wouldn't be unhappy with that. So let's get rid of Final Fantasy. That can go. Yeah.
Oh God, we're pissing, and including Sarah Dyer.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, James.
Actually, no. I'm going to go further. Get rid of any Square Enix RPG.
Whoa.
There you go.
Okay, that's enough
far.
because
That's
that's
too far.
yeah, we're supposed to be critics.
Yeah.
Also, Sarah, thanks for being a big part of the show, which
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
which you have been. So that's thanks for the kind words.
We're I was going to say we're nearly at the end. We're nowhere fucking near.
Right, we do need to get through some more of these quickly.
There's a few we
Holy
can probably
shit.
just sort of read out and then move on.
James looks like he's about to cry.
He does.
I know, it's like
Full
past
of
12.
messages. Stig says, "Happy birthday, gents. What can I say about TCGS that others won't have already said? 9 years of fantastic entertainment that's always funny and engaging and provides a Game of the Year show like no other. Incidentally, I finished Astrobot last week and Matt was robbed. But I wanted to say thank you for the most is the impact that this podcast has had on my life, the last 5 years in particular. You're the reason I met some of my best friends and opened myself up to new hobbies. Not only have I found some friends for life via your podcast, but on top of that, in 2020, a group of us from your Discord decided to create the podcast Modern Escapism to fill those COVID blues. Our aim was to help us escape the shit going on around the world at the time, as well as hopefully helping others find things to do the same. I don't think we ever expected it to last. It was just another outlet for us at the time. But nearly 5 years later, we're still going strong and even started a second podcast in the form of a Dungeons & Dragons actual play one. I never thought I'd play D&D, and now here I am, 63 episodes and 2 campaigns deep. I just wanted to say thank you because all these things started with you. It's down to this very podcast that led to those friendships and the creation of those podcasts and hobbies. I've also met and made friends with other podcasters through our own, and TCGS was the catalyst for it all. Thank you once again for the many, many hours of quality podcasting, but also for the positive changes it brought into my life. And I think you can be proud of the fact that your podcast led to some amazing friendships. And I'm sure I'm not the only person this has happened for either. Much love, Stig. P.S. Thanks for the cheap plug.
Thanks, Stig. I appreciate
really
that.
I still sort of like the idea of us doing an actual play podcast, but I feel like we're so late to it now. It would just feel so cynical.
Yeah, well, we've given them a plug. Let's fucking take them down with a
true.
direct competitor.
Now we'll kill you. Capone Adam brackets biscuit tin says finished watching. We put Last to Laugh.
That is the best Get Down Services song. If you're going to listen to Get Down Services, listen to Biscuits In. It's about landlords and it's amazing.
Yeah, so we put finished watching Last to Laugh, but it's Last One Laughing, isn't it? Maybe.
Yes, I think he's trying to make a gag.
Right, sorry, Capone. Says finished watching Last to Laugh after it was recommended on the bonus pod. If all four of you were stuck in a room, 1, who would laugh first? 2,
James.
Who would win?
Me.
3, how long would this likely go on for? And 4, could this be a bonus stream?
No. I think we'd all need to be in the same room for it to work. James would 100% laugh first.
Yeah, it's true.
I'd be able to make him
think?
laugh so easily. Yeah.
There's certain there's certain little triggers, and David knows quite a lot of them.
He knows
Just
a lot.
the spinning lady under the helicopter. There we go. So he's done. He's just done. I would sit in front of him and very seriously just go, do you remember when that lady was spinning faster and faster? And he'd be gone. He'd be gone. There's a certain T-shirt that we created one night when playing video games together that I would wear. That's a private joke for just the people.
Yeah, sorry everyone.
The people on the podcast. There is. I could make him laugh so easily. I think Matt would be quite good, but I think I could get Matt to break.
I don't know, because Matt really wants to win stuff.
Yeah,
He does, but also I know a lot about him.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I would be on the attack too much. I think I could win that. Like, I'm reasonably confident I could win. Because I think, Sean, you like laughing too much. So
Yeah, I think probably
you
right.
won't even really put the effort into holding it in. Whereas Matt would be the hardest one, but I think I could break him. I think I could. I think I could.
It would be funny to just sort of do it as part of a normal episode rather than... I don't think we'd get away with like doing it as a bonus stream, but yeah. Just don't even mention it at the start of the episode. We're just trying to...
See, but forget that.
It would
I
only
wanna
work
do like
if
a
you're in the
traitors
same
episode with all our listeners. But then, Ian's done that with his, so it seems like I'm just nicking his ideas now. So
Nick G says, "Dear lads, I was recently made redundant, and as a parting gift, Dan W and Sad Boy, who kept their jobs like a couple of pricks, got me both Farley themed T-shirts. Just wanted to say they are bloody marvellous. Love you all." That's a hell of a leaving gift, isn't it?
I'm
Joe
so sorry.
Joe rolled over in bed a couple of nights ago and went, "Why have I got to look at James's face? Because I had your speeding T-shirt on, sleeping in that." I want to see that in bed. I was like, "Sorry, I'll change."
Next
I'll
message
change to the other one.
Next message comes from someone on the Discord, brackets, it's Jamie. "Hello, just writing to say how much I appreciate your weekly delivery of nonsense and arguments. It's a real highlight while I'm doing my mandatory exercise hours and I get to spend them giggling or stopping to note down a game to look up later. I followed Sean over from Midnight Resistance, so I've been listening from the start and have even been mentioned on the show a few times, every time clearly credited as, quote, someone on the Discord said. Fame. Love you all, Jamie." The worst part of that is, whenever I do that and I say, "Oh, someone on the Discord, I forget who it was," part of me thinks like, "Oh, it was probably Jamie," but I always think it's fucking Jamie, so it can't be, surely.
Also, there's like, if I was on someone else's Discord, like if I was on the Chatterbix Discord, and then the Chatterbix guys went, "Someone on the Discord said this," I'd be fuming. I was like, "Yeah, I did. It was me."
Whoa, I want paying for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke Summerhays says, "All right, lads, happy 9th birthday. TCGS has been appointment listening since day one. Even when one of your video game opinions winds me up, I've always found the banter and dynamics so enjoyable that it's a comfort listen. E3 and Game of the Year seasons wouldn't have been the same without TCGS, and I still think it was a mistake to apologise and back down from the arguments. Comedy
Thank you.
gold.
I agree.
Love you guys. Appreciate you all. I'm going to save Dave the trouble in the edit. F my C word. Size 8 box of briefs. Love a Breville toasty maker. Luke Summerhead. We're nearly there. We've got 3 left.
We're nearly there, James. It's okay, mate.
Games Master.
We've done really well. I'm really proud we went through all these because it is our 9th birthday and it is a big deal.
Yeah. And look, people sent us so many nice messages.
Yeah.
Games Master says, congratulations, David, Sean, Matt, and James. You've been invited to play a game of Last Gamer Standing where you can win £1 million. The rules are simple. You must play one game continuously for longer than any of your opponents, and the last gamer standing will win. But you can only choose someone else's game, not your own game. So who are you picking and what game are you making them play in order to give yourself the best chance of winning? P.S. The prize money is not shareable, Sean, so please just be mean, okay?
Shit, that's a really good twist, that is.
That is
Holy
quite funny.
shit. Okay, well, we can only play it with the 3 of us.
I'd make Dave play Citizen Sleeper.
Okay, fine, because I'll be all right on that. I would make James play Lost Records, Bloom and Rage.
Makes him so angry, that would keep him going. He'd be like, "Ugh, it's so shit."
No, it will get to the 3rd playthrough and I scream, you scream, you all scream for ice cream. And it just goes, it's not worth it. This is going off. Yeah. Hey, little fuzzball.
Have you seen? I think I put it in the group, didn't I? Lemmy's streaming that from tomorrow.
That's.
I mean, I don't like we've said before. Like, I don't like that his thing now seems to be like, oh, he's going to slag this game off. But I do think that'll be quite a fun one.
Also, we should point out that for James, Limmy's going to be starting that series today. So, James, go on. What would you pick?
I picked Shenmue 2 for you to play, David.
Ooh.
Wait, hold on. You can't because Sean's already got me playing.
Okay.
Citizen Sleeper.
So I've got to choose
nuts
Sean.
Because I liked Citizen Sleeper.
Did you? I thought you were.
Yeah.
I thought you didn't get on with it.
No, I like Citizen. I completed Citizen Sleeper.
All right.
And it was all right. I just didn't think it was the second coming, that's all.
It's the first coming.
It was the seriousness in which you said that. Sean.
Yeah, that was quite a delivery. It's yeah.
We just had a glimpse of creepy Sean. Okay, let's move on. Can we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. Brett says, hey guys, thank you for being one of my go-to podcasts for many years. You've been there from having my first child almost 8 years ago, 2 redundancies, 5 jobs, and all whilst having another 2 kids in between.
Oh my god!
My question is, what's all of your dream cars? For example, mine would be an Audi RS6, fast and still practical, being an estate. Also, as an added bonus, what was all of your first cars? Have you ever had any funny mishaps or accidents whilst driving? Shaking fists at cameras while speeding is pretty up there. Also, to keep it gaming related, what's your favourite racing related game? I adored the old Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2 games, but the nostalgia I have for one of the very first games I played, Destruction Derby, is still a keen memory. Thanks, boys.
I'm not a car guy. I always struggle
Me
because
neither.
the people I work with are all car people.
Same
and
here.
I'm not a car person.
But
I haven't
there
got
was-
a fucking clue.
But there was one car that both of us really liked from Project Gotham Racing. Do you remember this car?
No, what was it?
It's the TVR. It was the
Oh, that TVR, yeah, but apparently it's a fucking disaster to drive in real
really,
life.
but it looks
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
I like that car.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. We were obsessed with driving that car about.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh god, looking at it now, it looks dreadful, James.
Does it
I can't
not look
imagine
good
me
now?
driving that shit around. Yeah, no, it doesn't hold up, that thing. Holy shit. My favourite car that I've ever owned was the Peugeot 3008. Do you remember that thing? The little black thing with the leather seats and the
does
heads
look
up
a bit-
display. It was well nice.
It's funny, isn't
my
it? 'Cause
first car.
it's one of those things that just the idea of actually having a nice one has just never really occurred to me. Like I've never had like a
it's
really
never
nice
been
car.
obtainable.
Yeah,
My first car was a Renault Megane.
nice. Oh, there's nothing wrong with a Megane, mate.
Well, it is when you get on the motorways trying to overtake. It's a very sluggish affair, and that's not my words, Sean. That's the words of Top Gear magazine.
My first car was a Peugeot 205,
Nice.
which only had four gears.
Oh, wow.
But I still love that car. It was great. Yeah.
Right, this is right, okay. I'm gonna get messages about this, and I don't want them. But I've got a car with 6 gears, and I don't get it. It just makes you've got half a second to go from first to second gear when you take off. That's the only difference. It's like the first gear is shit. That's it. To me, it feels like turning up. It's like turning up the music to 11. Was one better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
No,
I don't get it.
It just means you've altered the ratio of all the other numbers. Yeah, so my first car, was a Fiat Seicento, and it's for a first car, it was great. And then one day it started accelerating by itself, which is really good fun. So you'd be sat at like traffic lights, and put it into neutral, and the engine just started going, and it looked like you were trying to challenge other people in a Seicento. So that was fantastic.
I mean, a Seicento is a Seicento. A Lambo is a Lambo. Right, so
A taxi is a taxi.
I did have.
Oh my god! I'm looking at my first car now. It was a 2001 red Renault Megane, and it was a pile of shit. It was a dreadful car.
I really enjoyed. So I had a couple of Fiat Pandas, which are not a cool car, but I think I have so many fond memories because it was because I had the Seicento for years and it was fucking falling apart, and then I was like, no, I'm in a position now where I can, on a PCP deal, get something new and reliable. So just the feeling of that and all that stress going away, still have really fond memories of that. So someone said oh, do you want one of the modern, the the 4x4 Pandas with all the trimmings? I'd be like, fuck yeah, that'd be great. Love that. I wouldn't say it was. I don't know if that's my dream car though. Favorite racing related games? It's Forza Horizon 5, isn't
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, obviously.
And Forza Horizon. Yeah.
I did.
Although
I did
like
Project Gotham
Test Drive Unlimited.
series.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Test Drive Unlimited on the 360, I really got into as well, and that was a serious po-faced driving game. So I've got time for that shit. I've just never really been into cars to the point where I can talk about horsepower.
Any funny mishaps or accidents whilst driving? I once got pulled over by the police while me and my friend Ian were wearing Pikachu costumes. I must have told that story before.
Yeah. I've never been pulled over by the police ever. Touch wood. I never had an accident, but I was in a car when my brother was getting. We would get. I briefly mentioned it. It's not a very nice story.
Okay,
we went to a football match. We weren't allowed in because we were trying to sit in the home end in Ipswich when Ipswich were playing Millwall. So we went to a local pub and watched it in there, and drinking for 2 hours, then getting picked up by my brother's wife. And I don't know if this is a regular thing, but after the football match in Ipswich, there was nowhere to go in a car. All the roads were absolutely rammed. So we sat there for ages, both of us needing a piss. My brother tried to piss in a bottle. He started weeing. And then when he went to check to make sure that his willy was still in the bottle, it popped out. And it was like a loose hose in there. And I was sitting behind him, so I didn't get anything. But his wife... very much.
She bore the full brunt of it.
She stalled the car and cried. That's the story.
That's lovely. That.
Yeah.
We had to go to the nearest services, clean up.
Fucking hell.
Yep.
The last one comes from Sean Thomas. He says, hey, has James given up on streaming Bloodborne due to his busy podcast side hustles, or will he get back on it after Zamo eases up on the smack?
Well, the thing is, I will go back to it, but I need to finish Split Fiction first with Matt, and then I'll go back to it. But this is going to be weeks.
On Fridays, he's too cool.
That's true.
It's not going to work.
Man of the nature. That's it.
That is it.
That's the end of a very long episode of the Computer Game Show. James, you'd be happy. You can go to bed soon.
I know, it's 1 o'clock. It's nearly 1 o'clock.
You need to do the socials.
Oh, no. Oh, I forgot Matt wasn't here. I totally forgot. Shit. Okay. Let's get through this quickly. I'm going to bring the microphone close to me.
Oh, my God. The thing you're supposed to do all the time.
Yeah. But... I mean, these things are wrong anyway, aren't they? That are in here because it's not been edited. Because I should have done that. Because I should have realised it was that before. I mean, are you streaming Monster Hunter Wilds? Sure.
Yeah, because they've had the new update, so there's new shit in it. So yeah, go on then.
Okay, that's cool. So that will be happening on Thursday from 9 p.m. There's no Split Fiction stream this week either because I'm driving back to the UK, so that can't happen. What else do we have to remember? I mean, all the Twitch stuff you know all about. That's fine. Okay, there's also we've got. I mean, David already mentioned the Patreon at the start of the show. If you got this far, then you already know about it. It's like patreon.com/TCGS, I think, or TCGS card. I can never remember one of those. We've also got a store. If you go to a website, just type it in on Google because I don't remember because we don't have a website anymore, so I can't remember what the thing is. So I was really not planned for this one. It just I just had no plan whatsoever. I've got nothing else. I don't know what else to say. We're on Blue Sky.
Thanks so much for living it. We will catch you next week for some more video game chit chat. We hope you have a lovely week. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.